push the climate back. It's easy. Snip your sack. I mean, there's so many we can do. Morning.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Good then.
Hit it.
Yeah, hit it. Just gotta let this play for a second. All right. I've had enough. Can I just get a quick level? That's perfect.
Fat lady! Fat bitch! Valkyrie!
Oh, did you get my bonus clip?
Yeah, I did. All good. Honestly, I already had it, of course, but no problem.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Ladies and gentlemen,
why take a chance?
There it is, your bat signal. You know what it means. Go out there, boost the toot, retweet the tweet. Episode 1218 of the best podcast in the universe is coming up next. Nailed it hard. Like the bitch deserved. Thanks, trolls. New lyrics. Yo, are you there?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'll test the instruments. Yep. 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 You got it. You got it. It's so good. Feels good. Yes. It's dynamite. Well, seems like you're ready.
Yeah, backup.
Backup recording systems are running.
Hit it.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, February 20th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gimmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1218.
This is No Agenda.
Pardoning all producers and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the drone star state. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it appears that California is re-gone into a drought. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Well, I could send some of our rain your way if you want. We've had nonstop for the past week.
Oh, you should.
Yeah. What's up with you guys? No water?
Yeah, they said winter's over.
Oh. All right, so you get fire next then. Isn't that
No,
the way
actually, when there's not a lot of rain in the summer or the winter, it doesn't grow as many plants, and so the fire problem goes down.
Well, that's better. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything because it just charges more for the water every time they get a chance. They jack up the bill, and you guys are.
Yeah, I don't know why you stay there, John. I don't know. You like the milieu, obviously. I have no idea.
Milieu.
It's the milieu. Well, you say milieu, I say milieu.
You say milieu.
I say milieu. So,
there was debates.
Yes.
They had these horrible debates, and I think that we should go over some of the debate clips right away and do it on as members of the Curry Dvorak Media Consulting Group. Company.
Oh, yes. Well, first of all, in the first round of advice would be Mayor Bloomberg, don't debate at all. Stay home. But no, he didn't listen to our advice.
Well, I think I watched him try to. He's not what you'd call a natural, that's for sure. I remember when Trump did his first debates, and he came out saying, I'm a natural at this. I'm good.
You got to step back for a second. First of all, there was no box. And there was no box. And it was obvious to me because I was looking. I'm like, all right, let's see. And they lowered the podiums. Or podia, I guess you would say. The lecterns. They were lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to do something.
Did you see Bernie and Biden Bernie and Biden bowing down? No. It was so obvious. Smart, though. Good way to.
Well, here's what I noticed. It was, to me, obvious that Bloomberg never had any pre-debate coaching or a mock free.
No, here's Bloomberg. Hold my beer. I'll do this. Oh, shit. Give me my beer back. I got to drink it. That's exactly what happened. He wasn't ready. There were 5 questions he should have had a pat answer for.
Yes, and the big one was, I thought, the one he should have had the pat answer for, and I can tell you what the pat answer is, in fact, because I've listened to this clip, as Warren badgered him over the non-disclosure agreements.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the first one.
Well, what was the first one?
Well, right off the bat, when Warren came out swinging.
Well, why don't you play the first one? But my prepared comments are about his inability to answer the non-disclosure.
I want to follow your prepared comments. Where's the clip for this?
That was the bonus clip.
Oh, okay. It's the same one then. Gotcha.
I hope you heard what his defense was. I've been nice to some women.
Yeah, this is what I meant.
That just doesn't cut it. The mayor has to stand on his record, and what we need to know is exactly what's lurking out there. He has gotten some number of women, dozens, who knows, to sign non-disclosure agreements, both for sexual harassment and for gender discrimination in the workplace. So, Mr. Mayor, are you willing to release all of those women from those non-disclosure agreements so we can hear their side of the story?
I've never heard people so happy for non-disclosure agreements. This is great. What is that, by the way?
What you just said is the key to Bloomberg getting out of this, but he never executed it. He just choked. He is not going to beat anybody if he chokes something like this.
I have a very few non-disclosure agreements.
How many is that?
Let me finish.
How many is that?
None of them accuse me of doing anything other than maybe they didn't like the joke I told. And let me put, there's agreements between two parties.
Wrong answer.
That wanted to keep it quiet, and that's up to them. They signed those agreements, and we'll live with it.
So wait, when you say it is up to, I just want to be clear. Some is how many? And when you say they signed them and they wanted them, if they wish now to speak out and tell their side of the story about what it is they allege, that's now okay with you? You're releasing them on television tonight?
Senator? No.
Is that right?
Senator?
tonight?
Senator, the company and somebody else, in this case, a man or a woman, or could be more than that, they decided when they made an agreement.
I didn't quite understand what he meant. That could be more than that. Men, women, or it could be more. Does he mean all the other genders you can be? Is that what he meant by that?
Well, I think what he was not quick on the street, but I think he was thinking about maybe corporate entities that signed off on something or other.
Yeah, sounds to me more like transgender, non-conforming, binary.
No, I don't know. Maybe
They wanted to keep it quiet for everybody's interest. They signed the agreements, and that's what we're going to live with.
I'm sorry. No, the question is, are the women bound by being muzzled by you? And you could release them from that immediately. Because understand, this is not just a question of the mayor's character. This is also a question about electability. We are not going to beat Donald Trump with a man who has who knows how many non-disclosure agreements and the drip, drip, drip of stories of women saying they have been harassed and discriminated against.
Yeah, and already some of those NDAs are leaking out, so of course, well-timed. What should the mayor have done in this case?
Well, he should have done a jiu-jitsu move and started by saying, well, first, let me stop you right there. And then, of course, kept her stopped by saying, excuse me, because she's going to try to step on him. Yeah. Let me explain what these things are. And then gone into a long discussion of what are called non-disparagement agreements, which is what most non-disclosures are. And these can be, there's a lot of them. And big companies, then he should go on and say, big companies like mine have a lot of these because they're usually part of because a lot of people feel they've been wronged and they're going to make commentary about the company that's going to be negative, is going to be seen in a negative light. And this is part of their severance package. They won't get the severance package if they want to go do that. This is not unusual. Most modern big companies do this. You wouldn't know anything about it, Elizabeth, because you've never run a company. You haven't even run a city. You're just a legislative person that just signs and designs laws. You have no idea how things actually work. And that's what most of these things are. They're non-disparaging agreements.
You're bringing up really the best point. Because I think they say NDAs consistently, NDA?
Yeah.
I mean, so the jiu-jitsu move would have been, yes, that stands for non-disparagement agreements, and let me explain what they are.
By the way, non-disparagement agreements are non-disclosures.
Yeah, of course they are, but it just sounds much better. In fact, I got a message from one of our producers who left the Koch brothers super PAC, and he has a non-disparaging agreement, so I can't identify him, can't identify where the person is from, and telling me all kinds of stuff about open borders, etc. Good information, but could never go public with that. Well, in today's media, it's different, of course, because the press will just say a person familiar with the matter. But yeah, not non-disparaging. That would have been the move. I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, he would have gotten her off guard. She would have tried to interrupt him. He could shut her down using the Kellyanne Conway technique, which is the best.
What's that?
In that kind of an agreement where you just say, excuse me, I'm talking, excuse me, I'm talking, to make it look like she's, trying to butt in. And then he could have finished at the very end. He says, and of course we're not going to release these, and you're not going to bully me into doing it. It would be irresponsible.
Yes. Now, the clip I thought you were going to start with was this one.
I'd like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians.
See, now the only... Well, let's listen to how he handled that, because he did it.
And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg. Democrats are not...
Whoa, the crowd.
Not going to win.
What?
She thought that was clever. That was her idea of doing some material.
Well, that
was a joke.
That was her opening shot.
Yeah,
and
that's not the
now
one
Bloomberg. Now the moderators didn't even throw it back to Bloomberg, which I thought was odd. And Bloomberg didn't demand to have a retort.
No, he was. Well, later in the debates, he started holding his hand up like a little boy.
Yeah, but he should have just said, "Listen, that was a descriptor. It has nothing to do with whether she was lesbian or not. She had a dog face. What's your problem?"
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Oh,
but.
okay. Well, all right. We won't
But
put that in
again,
the
it's
report.
obvious that he never did a mock debate. He thought it was beneath him, I guess. He thought he was such a big shot, and he suffered for it. Well, he came out the worst in this thing.
I thought his message was very clear. The way I would have summarized it is, I can beat Trump with my money, and I'm a competent manager, and I'll bring back stability and order. That was his message, and here, in fact, was his closer, which was 7 seconds short of the time limit.
Mayor Bloomberg's here. Well, you can join me at MikeBloomberg.com, too, if you want, but I'm not asking for any money. Look, this is a management job, and Donald Trump's not a manager. This is a job where you have to build teams. He doesn't have a team, so he goes and makes decisions without knowing what's going on or the implications of what he does. We cannot run the railroad this way. This country has to pull together and understand that the people that we elect, and it's not just the President of the United States, they should have experience, they should have credentials, they should understand what they're doing and the implications thereof, and then we should, as a society, try to hold them accountable so the next time they go before the voters, if they haven't done the job, we shouldn't just say, oh, nice person, gives a good speech. We should say, didn't do the job, and you're out of here.
So, and I think his message was super clear, and people who were expecting to hear that heard that. No one else heard it because, of course, this is it's a show, and it was a much better show than it's been in the past. Just to contrast that, and then I want to get back to your analysis. This is what Bloomberg said on The View, and this is a video he has been trying to have scrubbed.
Let's just all hope that Donald Trump is a good president of the United States. He's our president, and we need this country to be run well. I didn't vote for him, but I think I would not make the mistake. Mitch McConnell said when Barack Obama was elected, let's make him a one-term president. Yeah. Let's not make this work. And I thought, that's our country. That's my kids and my grandkids. We have to make it work. You have an election. Whoever wins, then we got to get behind and work. And you can run against somebody else. But the difference between America and some other countries, in other countries, if they lose an election, they try to tear down the government. They try to have a revolution.
Yes.
We should sit back and say, okay, 4 years from now, how do I get my person, my woman, or my man elected? And that's very different.
Yes. You see, he's full of shit. This is what he thought originally. And he's right, though.
Wait, let's go back to 2011, what he thought originally. This is Bloomberg. Did somebody dredge this old clip up from 2011, Bloomberg on Trump?
I know Donald Trump. He's a great guy. He doesn't do everything he says, but he sure tries, and I'm a big fan of Donald Trump.
For all the shit I give Google, I really appreciate YouTube. I really do. It's highly appreciated. Which brings me to one other gripe. I'm sick and tired of these politicians saying Amazon billions in profit and they pay zero taxes. That warrants a little bit of explanation because I'm no fan of Amazon's practices. There's a lot of things I don't like, but they are what they do, and they've done consistently since the beginning of the company is plow all profits, almost all, back into research and development. R&D is a deductible cost. And, in fact, in 2018, this is what everyone's referring to, where Amazon paid $0 in U.S. federal income tax on $11 billion in pre-tax profit. They really only made $2.6 billion, and they plowed, like $3 billion in a quarter into research and development. Now, this research and development is what makes your Alexa run. Everybody loves the fucking Alexa. You don't want that? You don't want your Ring doorbell? Mergers, acquisitions, also another tax benefit, depending on how you do it. Half the internet runs on Amazon Web Services. That is thanks to the research and development cost that they write off of Amazon. So, to me, it's a great American success story. Are they evil corp and doing crappy things? Yeah. But that's not about the income tax. I'm sick and tired of it because everyone loves all this stuff. Oh, look, I just ordered. It's Prime Now, comes in 2 hours. Everyone loves all that, but we don't want to pay for it to be developed. So it's stuck in my craw, that. I'm sick and tired of hearing it.
I think you made your point.
Yeah.
let's back to the debates. I thought the Bernie versus Bloomberg clip was one of the better ones because this is the one time where Bloomberg actually stood up like a man. Although you couldn't tell because he wasn't on his box, but still.
I believe in democratic socialism for working people, not billionaires.
What a wonderful country we have. The best-known socialist in the country happens to be a millionaire with 3 houses. What I miss here?
Well, you'll miss that I work in Washington, house 1.
That's the first problem.
Live in Burlington, house 2.
That's good.
And like thousands of other Vermonters, I do have a summer camp. Forgive me for that. Where is your home? Which tax haven do you have your home?
New York City, thank you very much.
Yeah,
and I pay all my taxes. And I'm happy to do it because I get something for it.
Yeah. You know, Bernie, Warren, they're also in the top 1%. You know, the one they're bitching and moaning about. Yeah, the big phony. The whole thing is phony. The only people who I feel are honest, the only one is Amy Klobuchar. You know, I got a crush on her. I like what she does. She's not my kind of president, but she's a good person. I think she's tough and she wants to run things, and I think she made an impact last night. It's not that it'll help, but it made an impact.
To you.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. You sound like Biden.
Here's the deal. Look.
So I got the two. No, so Biden was
Team Amy.
Was
the Adderall kicked in within 30 seconds of the show starting. That was great.
And so he can't finish his sentence. He stops right in the middle of the sentence. Then says, "Look." Yeah,
and his eyes go wide.
Goes off on something else.
And his eyes went all wide. It's like a meth head.
So I have 2 clips. Here's the one where he goes off on climate change, promising jobs. I think this is the one where he promises these are good jobs. Look. These are good jobs. These are going to pay $50 an hour jobs. What? What's he talking about?
Any executive who is engaged in, and by the way, minority communities are the communities being most badly hurt by the way in which we deal with climate change. They are the ones who become the victims. That's where the asthma is. That's where the groundwater supply has been polluted. That's where, in fact, people, do not have the opportunity to be able to get away from everything from still asbestos in the walls of our schools. I have $1 trillion program for infrastructure that will provide for thousands and thousands of new jobs, not $15 an hour, but $50 an hour plus benefits. Unions being able to do that. And what it does is it will change the nature. Look, here's the last point I want. I know my time's going to run out. Here's the last point I want to.
Someone needs to consult Joe. He's always doing this. He's always saying, well, I'm almost out of time. Everyone else pushes up against the deadline. He wastes 4 seconds just on saying that. There's some odd thing that he can't get away from it.
I think you're wrong.
Oh,
he's saying that because his thought process ran out of material. This is what look. I'm going to run out of time. That is his moment, so he can try to collect himself.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Here's the last point I know my time's going to run out. Here's the last point I want to make to you. On day 1, when I'm elected president, I'm going to invite all of the members of the Paris Accord to Washington, D.C. They make up 85% of the problem. They know me. I'm used to dealing with international relations. I will get them to up the ante.
Vice President Biden, you didn't answer to my questions.
I thought I did.
What would you do with these companies that are responsible for the destruction of our planet?
What would I do with them? I would make sure they, number 1, stop. Number 2, if you demonstrate that...
I'm the president. Stop. Just please stop. Stop.
Stop. Number 2, if you demonstrate that they, in fact, have done things already that are bad and they've been lying, they should be able to be sued. They should be able to be held personally accountable. And they should, and not only the company, not the stockholders, but the CEOs of those companies. They should be engaged. And it's a little bit like, look, this is the industry we should be able to sue. We should go after, just like we did the drug companies, just like we did with the tobacco companies. The only company we can't go after are gun manufacturers because my buddy here. But
now, hold on. What executives from drug companies have really gone to jail? Like Pharma Boy? Okay, we got one. We got Pharma Boy.
Had one douchebag everybody made it.
Yeah, and then...
he's a guy's scapegoat.
What Wall Street bankers and bank presidents went to... Where's Jamie Dimon today? Where did they go to jail for the collapse in 2008?
Yeah, there's nothing. He's full of crap, that guy. But look.
But here's the deal.
Look.
Yeah, what?
Look, here's the deal. Look.
Meanwhile,
so he'll go on once if we start talking about blah blah blah. Look, and then look right in the middle of a sentence, he drops it. The other. I'm sorry, but the other one I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
You must just go to this. He goes off on, and he somehow through his look transitions. Look. He ends up going off on high-speed rail, which is. Hold on a second.
We've gone back to 2009.
The year 2000, once, they want their term back. Unbelievable.
What you might not know is that Las Vegas and Reno are the vibrant economic engines for the state of Nevada, and are also two of the fastest-warming cities in the country.
Before he even gets into that, when I heard this question, I was thinking, wait a minute. Where does Las Vegas get its power from? It's from the
Boulder Dam, mostly.
The dam, yes. The dam is right there. That's where, and it's the greenest kind of, well, I mean, there's debate over dams, but...
Oh, they're trying to get rid of most of these dams.
It's incredibly efficient for a generation. And then this jamoke comes in about solar panels and shit.
In certain months of the year, the heat is already an emergency situation for residents and for tourists walking up and down the strip. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Vice President. What specific policies would you implement that would keep Las Vegas and Reno livable, but also not hurt those economies?
It is the existential threat that humanity faces, global warming. I went out to Tekken. You have a facility where you have one of the largest solar panel arrays in the world. And when the fourth stage is completed, it will be able to take care of 60,000 homes for every single bit of their needs. And what I would do is, number one, work on providing the $47 billion we have for tech and to making sure we find answers, is to provide a way to transmit that wind and solar energy across the network of in the United States. Invest in battery technology. I would immediately reinstate all of the elimination of what Trump has eliminated in terms of EPA. I would secondly make sure that we had 500,000 new charging stations in every new highway we built in the United States of America or repaired. I would make sure that we once again made sure that we got the mileage standards back up, which would have saved over 12 billion barrels of oil had he not walked away from it. And I would invest in rail. Rail can take hundreds of thousands, millions of cars off the road if we have high-speed rail.
There is no animus for high-speed rail. The last project, which Obama touted, by the way, which was great because you wouldn't have to take your shoes off.
High-speed rail.
It was that's the whole thing in California. It's a massive failure.
Oh, and they're still trying to pull out of it. It's going to cost them an additional $1 billion, apparently.
Oh, if more than that, probably. Hey, meanwhile,
that's the latest announced amount.
Meanwhile, Trump was in Arizona with his counter-programming, as it's now known in the biz.
Now they have a new member of the crew, Mini Mike, and I hear he's getting pounded tonight. You know he's in a debate.
He's getting pounded. He's getting pounded. Oh my goodness.
Okay, the other one is. Do I have another clip? I'm not sure. Let's see.
Oh, while you're looking for that, on climate change, just real quick, I came up with a new one. I want to try this on you. And can you be a someone who's all in on climate change for this test?
Very easily.
Hey, about climate change. Do you think that we have a population problem? There are too many people on Earth?
Of course.
Okay. Do you think that climate change is man-made?
Absolutely.
Perfect. If we do nothing, we'll kill a couple billion. Problem solved.
Oh, that's a kind of a specious way of looking at it. The problem isn't solved because we're not going to kill a couple of billion.
Yes.
We have a serious problem. You're just joking about it.
No.
Do you think this is funny? Do you think that this existential threat which could wipe out our children's children?
My way is much better.
Funny?
Yes, my way is much better. We need to you want these people gone anyway, so let's just let them die from climate change. They're brown anyway. Who cares? Oh, that didn't work?
I'm never talking to you again.
Okay. It needs work. I'll work on it.
500,000 charging stations.
Yeah, which are powered by solar panels, apparently.
Can you imagine, if you have this is what I've been waiting for, the electric phenomenon to kick into high gear. So you'd have the solar, like at a gas station before a big weekend, people are lined up to get gasoline. And there's maybe, say at a Costco, there's maybe 5 cars might be lined up.
Right.
Well, if you have to wait an hour to 2 to 3 hours to do the charging, how long do you think that line would be?
Hey, man, that's not true. A Tesla has a supercharger. It's only 45 minutes.
Can you imagine if it took 45 minutes to fill your tank instead of 5, how long that line would be?
Well, you remember the former New York banker tried to live like that for a while when he had his Tesla P90 or 80, I think. And we traded that one week because of a distance he had to go. But he has a business in Houston, and he can't quite make Houston and back on a full charge. And he would try and convince me, like, no, it's great. I drive in about 15 minutes outside of Houston. I pull over into the supercharging station. I read the paper. I have a cup of coffee while the car's charging. That lasted about 2 months. And then he was all pissed off about it because, people have things to do. It will lower this idea, I think, will lower our GDP by 2 full points just from time wasting alone.
Yeah. So I think I'm not going to argue that. So, at least when you're on the train and you're reading the newspaper, you're moving.
Yeah, there's something happening.
So I picked this little 17-second thing out of that Biden clip about the existential threat, and I swear he says egg-sistential.
Oh, where is this?
I got Lewis says debates egg-essential.
Okay.
There will be irreparable damage done, not just to Nevada.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, this is right. This is the right clip, but it was Bernie, not Biden.
Oh.
There will be irreparable damage done, not just to Nevada, not just to Vermont or Massachusetts, but to the entire world. Joe said it right. This is an existential threat. You know what that means, Joe?
Yeah, it's bad for eggs.
That means we're fighting for the future of this planet.
I love how all of these people, except for a couple stragglers there, will be close to 90 by the time the world is supposed to blow up. They don't give a crap. They can promise anything they want. Existential.
Existential.
Life
for 500,000 charging stations.
Life for Bernie is an existential threat because he doesn't have that many years left. I don't want to be coy about it, but sick and tired of it. All right, let me... now, I found something interesting this morning as I was going through a couple of clips I wanted to share. They had, they had the final round where everybody, does their little pitch. We already heard Bloomberg's. But just before that, they did something that they promised wouldn't happen in the debates, which was a yes or no question. And every NBC related video site, and of course I scoured YouTube, eventually found what I was looking for, but it was hard to find because the official NBC online video does not include, because they had a commercial break, does not include the question about the convention. And that is very telling to me, and I think it's the most important part of what went down during this debate. Here it is.
Also winning the Senate races in Arizona and in Colorado and beyond. And the reason we won, because this state gets it. They get that maybe...
shit, did I clip the wrong thing? Damn it.
...is bigger than any. To join me at Amy Klobuchar.
Asking for any money. Look.
No, it's the completely wrong... Completely wrong
think
clip.
They lead into it, maybe?
I don't think so. No, this is the missing part of the online video, but this is not the piece I wanted. Hold on.
Well, you can join me at MikeBloomberg.com, too, if you want, but I'm not asking for any money. Look, this is a management...
No. So, damn it. This was the... Oh, I'm pissed off about this.
This happens once in a while. It happened to me.
Well, what it was, the question was, do we follow the rules of the convention, which means you have to have 1,990 delegates in order to win the nomination, or since it looks like, as was intended, it's impossible for any one person to get that total amount. See Mayor Pete Alone, who, through the Iowa fracas stole an extra delegate. In my mind, he stole it. Or should the person with the most delegates win? And he even said, "Oh, Bernie, you go last," and went down the line, every single one of them, yes or no. Yeah, no, we should follow the rules. Yeah, we should follow the rules. We follow the rules. Because Bernie is going to get screwed. They all admitted it right there on stage. Done. I'm so upset that I don't have this clip.
Okay, here's the deal. Look, here's the deal. Look.
I found the clip. I found it. I found the
I was going to say you could
I found the raw video. No, I found the raw video. Hold on a second. Why is this not...
Going to patch it straight in. We're going to do it live.
Yeah, we're going to do it live. We're not fucking around. All right, hold on.
To the Democratic National, we are less than 2 weeks away from a national primary. And I want to ask all of you this simple question. There's a very good chance none of you are going to have enough delegates to the Democratic National Convention to clinch this nomination. Okay? If that happens, I want all of your opinions on this. Should the person with the most delegates at the end of this primary season be the nominee, even if they are short of a majority? Senator Sanders, I'm going to let you go last here because I know your view on this. So instead, I will start with you, Mayor Bloomberg.
Whatever the rules of the Democratic Party are, they should be followed. And if they have a process, which I believe they do,
I'm trying to do
so
this,
that
yes or no,
everybody
to make it
else,
fast.
everybody can.
So you want the convention to work its will?
Yes.
Senator Warren.
But a convention working its will means that people have the delegates that are pledged to them, and they keep those delegates until you come to the convention. All of the people.
All righty. Vice President Biden?
Play by the rules.
Yes or no? Leading person with the delegates, should they be the nominee or not?
No, let the process work its way out.
Mayor Buttigieg?
Not necessarily, not to listen.
Senator Klobuchar?
Let the process work.
Senator Sanders?
Well, the process includes 500 superdelegates on the second ballot. So I think that the will of the people should prevail. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Most votes should become the nominee.
5 no's and a yes.
So they promised they wouldn't do that anymore, and it's no. You heard the crappy clip before. It's because they cut it out. It's not available on the NBC video archives, even though they say full debate. Watch it all here.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's the great catch for today.
And
you caught the Marlin.
Thank God we did it live.
What you did, I mean, it's not that you caught the clip. What you caught was NBC changing history.
Yeah, well, trying to.
But what was the point?
Well, because I thought
didn't want to piss off all the Bernie bros.
Yeah, and it looks bad
to tear down the convention center if Bernie doesn't get in.
I'm not sure exactly what the problem is.
It's a possibility. I mean, this crazy woman. I got this clip from her, Shama Sawant, who goes on. This is her introduction to Bernie in Seattle. She was the keynote, as it were, the preliminary to Bernie coming. I had to take a lot out because there was these long.
Now this was his Tacoma Dome appearance.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Hey, 17,000 people. I mean, that's not. The capacity is 23 or something, but it's not bad. And zero coverage. Zero.
Well, they did. This was covered.
Did they mention how many people were there?
No, no. But they had this woman. Let's play this.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said last month.
Oh, yeah.
As she said last month, in any other country, Joe Biden and I would not be in the same party. So, we need to elect Bernie. And we need a new party of, by, and for working people. To win.
Hold on, I know who this is. We have a clip of her. Listen, this is her.
Medicare for all.
Yes.
Don't eat me, Bo Jordan. You're scary. So scary.
It's her.
To end the racist mass incarceration system and to win a bold avoid climate catastrophe. And we need a powerful socialist movement to end all capitalist oppression and exploitation. Our immediate task is to go all out and win for Bernie, and to prevent the elite from rigging the primary against him.
Yes.
That's why my organization, Socialist Alternative, is calling for 1 million people in Milwaukee to have Bernie's back. My friends, history is calling on us. Are we ready?
Woo! Yeah. It is so interesting to see how the M5M is, even Bloomberg's campaign manager, I think I saw. Oh, yeah, these guys are just like the Trump supporters. Yeah, they're violent and nuts. Bernie bros are no good. You know,
they were that way in 2016 when Trump tried to go to Chicago,
yes,
and give a speech, one of his big rallies. It was the Bernie bros who like started punching people and prevented him from even showing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he has a bunch of thugs working for him. And that guy, that punk that was on that Veritas video saying, yeah, we're going to burn down Milwaukee if they don't give it to him.
Burn, brother. Be on fire. A couple of observations from our producers. Dame Jamie says, Bloomberg wasn't wearing his normal hearing aids. And I feel remiss. I should have caught that. And I don't know if he had different ones, or the ones that go all the way in the ear are not considered very good. So maybe none. I'm not sure what that was about. Dame Jamie says, when he's attacked, Bloomberg will eye roll. If he suppresses the roll, he grips the podium. I saw that too. That's a great tell. You can see just a gripping.
The eye rolling was never ending.
Gripping. There was one thing and I recently had a short conversation with someone about this very topic, although not packaged in this way, when Mayor Pete said something which was just like, I don't know, it felt really odd the way he said it, and the facts also. We're going to fact check him on this.
If we really want to deliver less inequality in this country, then we got to start with the tax code. And we got to start with investments in how people are able to live the American dream, which is in serious decline. Matter of fact, last time I checked, the list of countries to live out the American dream, in other words, to be born at the bottom and come out at the top, we're not even in the top 10. Number one place to live out the American dream right now is Denmark.
Okay, now, the number one place to live out the American dream, ladies and gentlemen, is now Denmark. This went from it's the happiest place on earth, which it can possibly be true since they're number 4 on the list of most people on antidepressants. The United States, we kill it, obviously, but they're number 4. So in that regard, they're getting close to the American dream of being high all the time legally. But as one of our producers pointed out, and Bernie does a lot of this too. Denmark! Bernie and Mayor Pete should know that under all governments, right or left in Denmark, for years, stop, question, and empty your pocket areas can be called by the police at any time and have been. This is mainly done in cases of gang warfare and or terror. Read immigrants' issues. So how is that a great country if it's such a horrible thing, the stop and frisk, and Denmark has it? Or is that part of the American dream?
These guys.
Michael Moore has a podcast where he talks
he talks like he's hoping to get it on PBS.
Yes, I'd be perfect. No, and NPR. I'd be.
I'm sorry. What am I thinking? NPR, of course.
And if not NPR, maybe I could be on the Luminary or Wondery or one of those fine podcast networks. And he gave us, I think, the definitive end of show ISO.
Michael Bloomberg is a terrorist.
Top that.
Well, I don't even know if I have a
top that. No way. This is the best.
Michael Bloomberg is a terrorist.
Michael Bloomberg is a terrorist. NPR. I'm Michael Moore with my podcast.
Okay, the only one I have, my ISO comes from one of the clips, and I'll just play it cold. And this is Drugged.
Drugged by a tainted cupcake.
Tough call. Very, very tough call. Very tough call.
Drugged by a tainted cupcake.
Gosh, I have to admit I like it. Let's try back to back.
Drugged by a tainted cupcake.
Michael Bloomberg is a terrorist.
I can't decide. It's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up. We'll let the trolls decide what we should do there. Yeah, so I thought the stage was nice. That was a much more Vegas style. The flag, of course, there's no flag hanging, but they had stripes and stars and all kinds of stuff that looked really good. People like the cupcake, actually. That's what the trolls are saying. So I guess we have to go with the taint cupcake.
Well, to keep the other one as an evergreen because it's usable. Here's the status. I have just a one Bernie. This is the Bernie update. Because Bernie is really the focus.
Yeah.
And this is ABC's rundown, and this is the Bernie update.
In California today, the line to see Bernie Sanders snaked for blocks.
I hear the establishment saying, oh, Bernie can't win the election. Take a look at this crowd today and tell me we can't win the election.
But Sanders, well aware he's now facing a new kind of challenge. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg spending $380 million and counting to blanket the airwaves with ads.
Mayor Bloomberg, with all his money, will not create the kind of excitement and energy we need to have the voter turnout we must have to defeat Donald Trump.
Bloomberg firing back that the Sanders campaign brings a different, negative kind of energy, releasing a video highlighting the online anger of so-called Bernie bros. Bloomberg tweeting that when it comes to beating Trump, this type of energy is not going to get us there. The billionaire's Democratic rivals say now it's high time he come out from behind his campaign ads.
He has to answer questions, and of course I think he should be on that debate stage, which eventually he will be, because I can't beat him on the airwaves, but I can beat him on the debate stage.
As Bloomberg's poll numbers rise, his past drawing new scrutiny, including his treatment of women in the workplace and allegations of sexist and crude comments reported by multiple outlets, including ABC News. A Washington Post investigation making waves this weekend, prompting Bloomberg to tweet, "I would not be where I am today without the talented women around me. I've depended on their leadership, their advice, and their contributions."
Bloomberg says he's championed women. Do you think he still needs to answer for these allegations?
Yes, but he needs to answer for these allegations. You're not championing women when you have non-disclosure agreements so they can't tell their side of the story. I want to hear from Mike Bloomberg that he is going to let these women talk. Unmuzzle them, and let's find out what's really happening.
All right. Okay. So
right there.
What?
That little clip with her was the day before the debates.
Yeah.
Bloomberg's people should have saw that thing coming a mile away. They didn't.
So they don't care. And this is the conversation that the mainstream will not have. Bloomberg, as I said, here's my money. I'm going to do everything I can, and you should take me and my money because I'm a competent manager. That's his entire message, and everything else he really doesn't care. It's obvious. I personally am extremely happy he's doing this because for all the years of hearing Citizens United and campaign finance reform and all of this Koch brothers, fine. By the way, Koch brothers are massively anti-Trump. They
have been from the very beginning.
So for all of that and all the bitching and moaning, this is a good test. Can you actually go with unlimited funds, which is not true, but can you go with a lot of money, and can you subsequently buy the presidency? I think not, but let's see how it plays out. And no one can discuss this for a lot of the reasons mentioned in your excellent essay that you sent out with the newsletter. And to that point, there was a lot of Bloomberg slamming right after the debate. I immediately went to MSNBC. Bloomberg, no good, useless. Down one channel, Fox. Trump won, of course. Okay, thanks, Fox. CNN, slamming Bloomberg. the only thing I can contemplate here is that, we have Super Tuesday 2 weeks away. 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And
March 3rd.
Yeah, the media buys are already in. So he's stacked. You're not planning any more buys at this point. You're done. You're locked and loaded. They've got their money. Everything's in. All they have to do is fulfill. And then they'll see. Because they definitely were not kowtowing. They were happy to slam him down and kind of, did a different version of, a little bit of marginalizing almost. And that was a little surprising.
I still think this is true. The guys who do the loudest complaining about Bloomberg are the guys that got the least amount of money from Bloomberg.
Well, I hear you on that. Yeah.
CNN's not getting a big buy. MSNBC, nothing. There's nothing there.
So you really think it's the local media?
The local media is getting most of the money, and then the big networks. Right. ABC, NBC, CBS. Then after that, it's just scattered around. I mean, it would be more later, but these guys are pretty much shooting themselves in the foot in terms of, I'm sure they're sales guys. If I'm a sales guy working at CNN, I'm not happy with this coverage. Why are we blasting this guy? Why don't we just see what happens? Because there's some money for us in this. Yes. And this is what it's really all about. These organizations they don't do what we do, where we actually literally have the people that listen are the same people that produce and sponsor the show. They are dependent on these big ad buys, and the sales guys can't be happy.
Can you imagine that meeting on Monday? We have a problem, people. So we have Nevada and South Carolina coming up. Maybe you still believe Joe Biden will win South Carolina, which I think he will be second, but we'll see.
If he's second, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, that's not winning.
No, I said it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think he will come in second.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be, oh my God, he came in second. I'm not going to be that shocked.
Okay.
Because Bernie is getting momentum in South Carolina. He's got a good message.
Everybody right now is hyper-focused on ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, commonly known as black and brown communities, or black and brown communities, people of color, whatever they choose for non-offensive phrases they think. And not on the debate stage, but still trying his best. Tom Steyer, yes, he's still in the race, and he thinks he knows what to do.
But when you talk about trying to even the playing field with reparations, something that you said you support, how do you repair it? Do you say that the divide is about education, or are you talking about financial restitution, writing checks?
Well, what I've said, Margaret, is this, and you're right. I am the only candidate running for president who will say that he or she is for reparations. But what I've also said is this. The way to figure out the correct solution in this case is I would have a formal commission on race, starting the first day of my presidency, to retell the story of the more than 400 years that African Americans have been here.
This is completely the wrong message. We just had a reparations commission. The minute you say, oh, I'm all for reparations, but we're going to have a commission from day one, non-starter, goodbye. You're not happening. Trump has his surrogates out on Fox and Friends, the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and here's her message to the Trump voters.
Respond to that comment by Pete Buttigieg. No one's feeling the pain more than black Americans right now.
I am an African-American woman of 69 years old, and almost everyone that I'm speaking with, whether they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, some don't vote, various perspectives. However, people are saying our wages are up, our families being united. I was on an interview with Alice Johnson recently, and she was talking about her experience of coming home and being reunited with her family. The second step, first step, second chances, is moving so quickly that we are seeing so many gains in the African American community. Some people say, well, President Trump says, what do you have to lose? But he certainly has shown us what we have to gain. So people are not suffering in the manner that was just stated.
I'll have to ask Mo what impact Alveda King has in the community. Meanwhile, a long predicted person on the scene appeared on where else? The View. And there's nothing like a little Stacey Abrams to spice it up.
A lot of people want to see you on that ticket, first as vice president. And you said, that any Democratic candidate can come and talk to you about being VP. Explain to people why you say this.
Okay. So the first time I was on here, I got the question about running as VP during the primary, and I apparently famously said no, because you don't.
She's regretting it.
Run for second in a primary.
Right.
However, because that conversation started, I'm now getting the question a lot from folks, and the answer is, of course, I would be honored to run for vice president with the nominee. And it's a bit disconcerting because it seems really obnoxious for me to say that out loud since I'm not, no one's asked me. But what I want people to understand is that
in the media. Yeah.
Exactly. The issue is, as a woman of color, especially as a black woman, this is an unusual position to be in for someone to be considered possibly the next vice president. And it would be doing a disservice to every woman of color, every woman of ambition, every child who wants to think beyond their known space for me to say no, or to pretend, oh no, I don't want it. Of course I want it. Of course I want to serve America. Good. Of course I want to be a patriot and do this work. And so I say yes.
Yes, and very good. You also see yourself running as president, too.
Oh, absolutely.
At some point, too.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Again, when someone starts in the mailroom and says, I want to be the CEO, we never go, oh my gosh, that's too much ambition. Why should we not want someone to have the power to fix the problems and the brokenness that we have?
No, still in play for a VP spot, I would say. That's what she was doing. That's what you do. She was forced. Folks be asking, just like Hillary. Lots of pressure. Lots of pressure. Mayor Pete, on the other hand, I
want to stop for a second and mention, so when people listen to that clip, the previous clip, Steyer, it's loaded to the gills with performatives.
Oh, Steyer or Abrams?
Tom Steyer.
Mm-hmm.
They ask him, what do you think about this? And he says, well, what I've said about it is.
Yeah, he's full of crap.
He never says what he thinks. He says what I've said about it.
Yeah, good point. Good catch.
Anyway.
I will say I am a little more impressed with Mayor Pete, not as a president, but as an animatron. He has gotten really good with his replies, and so good, in fact, Amy... Team Amy, Klobuchar called him out and said, you've got everything rehearsed. You've got all these comeback lines, but he was asked the so-called Bill Maher question at the CNN town hall, and I thought he answered it appropriately.
I want to ask the Bill Maher question. So,
in one channel.
You know what it is.
I'm a little worried about this. Let's see which Bill Maher question you have in mind.
So it's November. Pete Buttigieg just won the election, and the current occupant says, no, this is all a hoax. The Senate agrees with him. Fox News starts going on about it. What does President-elect Buttigieg do about this when he doesn't want to leave?
So, what I said to Bill Maher was it was going to be pretty awkward when Chasten and I are moving in our furniture. I mean, if he won't leave, I guess if he's willing to do chores, we could work something out, but...
I'm liking Poot. I'm liking what he's doing here.
That was professionally written.
Of course it was professionally written, but he's nailing it. He's got some professionals on his side.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know. That Bloomberg should get some joke writers.
Now, we have the Nevada caucus on Saturday, if I'm correct. And
I think the results come in on Saturday.
The results come in on Saturday. Yeah, because they have early voting this year. And based upon the Iowa results, which to my knowledge still have not 100% been reported, and everyone's just given up on it. Oh, well, we'll take the L. And but Poot did get an extra delegate there somehow magically. Nevada, would you believe it, was all set to do their caucus and early voting caucus with the same app.
Yeah, This is well known.
But they've come up with a fix.
This is one of the things, Christina, that has confused me a little bit. So in Iowa, there was an...
This is an AP podcast, in case you're wondering about the sound and professionalism.
App. That didn't work. Nevada decided not to use the app. So they're using what they're calling a tool. What is the tool? And is it really just another app?
Well, yeah, certainly semantics. What it is a Google form. And so what we know is that it's going to come preloaded on to iPads that are going to be distributed to the precinct captains on the day of the caucus on February 22nd, the Saturday. Preloaded into the Google form that they will be entering information is information about early voting. So Nevada is very interesting in the fact that they're trying to be as accessible by having and offering early voting. But it's a very complicated and complex step.
I know it's irritating to listen to, but I think there's good information for us.
That Iowa didn't attempt. They just did the in-person caucuses. So in this Google form, it's going to have preloaded information for each precinct on early voters and their preferences. So the precinct captains, as they oversee the caucus process on Saturday, will be utilizing this Google form, and it's going to have all this information. It's going to calculate viability for the presidential candidates, and they're going to use this to submit results to the state party.
So basically, we've taken a caucus system, which is already kind of complicated, and made it even more complicated by adding in early voting beforehand.
Absolutely. And that's where a lot of concern from volunteers, and we've heard it from some campaigns as well, is how that integration is going to happen, particularly as the caucus moves into later stages where there can be realignment of voters to different candidates after the initial preference vote is taken. And so there's still not a lot of good answers about how that's all going to work. And the volunteers that I've spoken to have said that's a particular concern.
Yeah. Alert. Scam ahead. Sorry. Google Forms. That's how it's going to be done? Google Forms. A part of Google Docs.
Yeah.
This is insanity. By the way, Google Docs does go down. I cannot believe.
I don't use it.
Well, I see all the time the Google Docs down, just like when Slack goes down. All offices around the world shut down until it comes back. People rely on Google Docs. It goes out. Sure it does. But besides that, you're going to have the Google be the back end for this? I find it unacceptable. I'd be, if I was in the caucus, I'd be very angry about this. And they're just rolling it out. I think that they're going to scam something again. It's good. We're going to have another problem.
Biden
for Nevada. Yeah, sure. I cannot believe it. You've had years to prepare for this. And even since Iowa, there was enough time to come up with something better than Google Forms preloaded on an iPad. Oy, oy, oy.
I don't know. That's not the way I understood it's supposed to work anyway.
What did you understand?
Well, that they have these little groups, they meet up, they decide on somebody, and the one guy represents the whole crowd. Hey, I represent 10,000 votes for this little caucusing group, and they were putting our vote for Biden.
And they'll put that into the Google form.
I didn't know about the Google form, but I guess they're going to do that now. But this is, this reminds me, this is a cycle in the Democratic Party. When I was a kid, they had a big thing. That's when the primaries first started getting developed, because in the olden days, before I was a little kid, back, I guess, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, it was always the so-called, and they used to use this term until probably the term maybe died out around the early 90s or late 80s or even late 70s. I'm not sure. smoke-filled room.
Yeah, smoke-filled room in the back where we're
and so
making
they
deals.
determine how many delegates go to which candidate, and it comes out of the door opens of a smoke-filled room with a bunch of guys smoking cigars, and they decide all the votes are going to Biden. Yes. And so the Democrat Party got all irked about this because it was like, oh, geez, this is terrible. These smoke-filled rooms, we don't know what's going on. It's not transparent. And so then they split off into doing primaries on the one hand and caucuses on the other. Smoke-filled rooms are gone. Now they're getting rid of the caucuses. That's what's happening now. This is at the end of the caucus. This may be the last time. Well, everyone's got to do primaries. There's more money in the primaries.
Yes. It's an anachronism. It's very complicated. It's not the simple, okay, I get it. No one gets it.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Well, I don't know if it's dumb. It's just people are dumb. They're too dumb to. I think it's really an interesting system because it's real politicking on the spot by the people who are, trying to convince others, come over to my guy. You guys no chance, or your lady has no chance. We'll do that. I kind of like that. It's a real boots on the ground type of experience.
Smoke-filled rooms, the same thing.
Well, isn't that kind of what America is? Let's be honest.
Smoke-filled room.
We're one big smoke-filled room. Smokeless-filled room, yes. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in existential threat known as climate change, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning to all boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, feet in the air, and all the dames and knights out there.
Something like that. Yeah, look, here's the deal. In the morning to our trolls in the troll room, noagendastream.com. Counting them as we speak, we have 1,072 trolls, all at attention today. Good to have you here. Thank you. That's where you can hear the show live, participate in the troll room. It's 24/7, so there's always some trolling to be done, and we need you. If you're a troll, head over to noagendastream.com. A big in the morning to Darren O'Neill, scored excellent artwork for episode 1217. The title of that was The Elders, and it was our podcast award. And it made me, when I saw this, because it's the podcast award, it's a gold ribbon, it says podcast awards, best producers, plural. And I thought, yeah, that is exactly the problem with podcast awards. If done properly, every podcast has producers and not listeners. If it's proper, otherwise it's just another NPR thing as far as I'm concerned. There's no stage big enough to hold all of our producers. They don't have enough trophies. It could never happen. So we cannot compete in these types of contests. But Darren, thank you very much. Darren has just been on a tear with the art, always in competition. Such a huge supporter of the show, doing the pre-stream as well. Before what happened?
I was just giving him a
ding.
Ring,
a ding, a good ding,
a salute.
Yeah, a salute indeed. I was going to say something about the art generator. Sir Paul Couture is on the scene. Yes, he sent a couple of notes, and it looks like the art generator is almost fixed, completely fixed, or will soon be fixed. New accounts, I think, can already be created, and we really appreciate it because what an incredible resource it is for our producers who like to submit art for the album art, so we have something fresh, new, something that pops, that's fun, that gets attention in all those podcast apps. And it's also cool to go through it and look at all the historical stuff. I mean, it is a history of the world in pictures, in a way, kind of. I hope someone finds this one day.
He does make a mention. He says it will also be placing the entire library of artwork and new submissions on a CDN for better performance.
Ah, cool.
It should be much easier for other devs to contribute additions, fixes, etc. Within the public Git repository for the generator, and there will also be a weekly backup, again with user info scrubbed, of the entire library that will allow anyone to download a current copy. Currently 15,177 art submissions, a little over 13 gigs of art.
Jeez.
And clone the code base and place it on any server with PHP 7.2 and SQL database for their own flavor choice. Run a few scripts and have a clone up and running.
Yeah, that is really fantastic, and I appreciate it because throughout the years, and Paul has been producing things for the show for a long time. People always have great intentions, start something up, and then it kind of fades, breaks, or stuff happens. For instance, Bingit.io, search.nashownotes.com, just go to Bingit.io, hasn't updated since the changeover to 2020, so it's not current in its indexing. There's lots of things that kind of fall by the wayside, and I try to prod people and ask them to help, and it is part of the challenge of the model that we've chosen. But on the other hand, man, I'm glad we did it, because no way could we have just done this first hour on mainstream. I mean, the studio would have been locked down, would have been gassed.
Gas. Smoke coming in underneath the door.
Gas those guys. We can't have this shit. Gas them, I tell you. As part of our value for value model, and since you started to reiterate that earlier, the most interesting part of how we finance the operation of the show is by asking a simple question. If you've listened to 2.5, 3 hours of our program, what kind of value did you get for it? And I'll give you a comparison. If you go to the movies this weekend, you'll take a date, your wife, your husband, whatever. You hour and a half, you get popcorn, maybe a drink. It's $50. It's just going to cost you around $50. Hour and a half, $50. Listening to our show, did you get the same value, equal value, less value? And when you ask people to determine value for themselves, the results are often surprising, and somehow that makes the model work. And I think we should thank some of our donors who are helping us out for today.
Starting with Sir Otaku, the Duke of the Northeast Texas, Duke of Northeast Texas in the Red River Valley, came in at the top of the list, and he's actually a show number member.
Oh,
he gave us 1218, which is show 1218
there
from
you
Louisville,
go.
Texas.
The case in point. What does he say?
To start a barbecue competition season for me, and I need to up my karma, so I have a great competitive season. What he says is he wants $1,200 worth of karma.
Oh, okay.
So I thought, why not get a show credit?
Yeah.
Some might say it's cheating to ask for karma from the best podcast in the universe, but if you ask me, it's just hedging your bets when the difference between first and last place relies on a single bite. Yes, this is true when you do food cooking competitions. Adam, I'll be competing in your neck of the woods on April 4th at the Cedar Fest Barbecue Cook-Off in Cedar Park, Texas. If you and the keeper want to come by on a Saturday afternoon, hang out and have some great Q. Can I get some JCD mac and cheese karma with the little girl yay? 73's K5VZ, Sir Otaku, the Duke of Northeast Texas and the Red River Valley.
Yeah, 73's Kilo 5 Alpha Charlie Charlie. What is Q?
Barbecue.
Oh, gee, I've never heard it abbreviated like that. Q.
Which state are you living in? I forgot.
They don't say that. I've never heard that in Texas.
Sure they do.
Maybe it's just Austin. Sir Otaku, you will get a special extra credit today, which you should totally put on your LinkedIn if you have one, and we really appreciate that.
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese. Cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese.
You've got karma.
I should probably talk to him sometime about brisket.
Yeah. For tips, or you want to give him tips?
I don't have any tips for him on brisket. I got tips for everything but brisket. I've had nothing but trouble cooking brisket the way they do it in Texas. And I think a lot of it has to do with I can't get the right brisket here. I don't get fatty enough brisket. But I've done it. I've cooked for 12 hours. I've used pecan shells. I've done all these things, and I still can't get it to be a good product. Anyway, onward to Baron is it Walkman? $600?
Yes.
Apparently
Walkman.
it is.
Yes, Walkman.
Baron Walkman, ITM gents, shout out to the troll room. Please cue all the Abrams, stop the hammering. Oh, Jill Abramson.
Jill Abrams, yeah.
Jill Abramson, stop the hammering. Fisting nuts.
Yeah, now, hold on. Fisting nuts, isn't that a whole thing? Is that...
Yeah, it's a bit. It's not really a clip.
It's long. Well, it's worth it because, this was trending on Twitter. Did you see that?
I demand an inquiry as to how my territory was taken according to the peerage map by Viscount Sir Patrick of the enormous noggin.
Well,
this is an outrage.
Have you seen his noggin?
So I don't think he's talking about the noggin being the outrage. So to rectify, please accept my donation of $600, which by my accounting moves me to Earl status and thus taking back the Buckeye state of poisonous nuts. That's Ohio for the less informed. Adam, I'll be debriefing you further on the China situation.
His
Please
son.
give a house renovation karma as we prepare to sell and relocate to wherever Dimension B is non-existent. Accounting and email.
Yeah, he's debriefing his son, who's coming back from somewhere where he sent me some info about that previously. What do we do about this issue with the peerage territory?
Well, they can be in the same area, but one's going to be boss of the other.
Oh, okay, that's easy. That's fixed then. And I
think,
and I'm going to play it, but I have to tell you, your nut fisting was trending this week.
Should be.
Yeah, and what was interesting is this note from Baron Walkman. He sent it to you, and it got rejected by your Squirrel Mail spam filter for use of the porn word fisting.
Oh, well, that's pretty extreme.
Eric and I had a good laugh over it. Like, wow. Wow.
What are you doing chatting with Eric?
Well, I'm sorry. Can I not talk to the employees of the organization?
No, you can chat with them, but I don't know why you're chatting about my email bounce back.
Obviously, I read the New York Times like all day long, mainly on my iPad app.
Stop the hammering!
Just go for it, John. Tell us your peeve about the fisting method of eating snacks on an airplane.
Okay. I see this on the airplane, and it's very annoying, and I think it will result in fights breaking out because it's just so annoying to watch. Guy takes his bag of peanuts and he throws a pile of them into his palm of his hand, and then he makes a fist around the nuts. And then he shakes his fist to try to bring a nut to the little hole. Stop! And then he throws a nut in his mouth from his fist. Then he does it again. He shakes and throws and shakes and throws. It is annoying as hell to watch.
You've got karma.
A classic, I tell you.
Yeah, we got plenty of them on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Onward to Jamie Breich.
Yes.
In Mentor, Ohio, 441. We got good donors today. Thank you, people. I'm making this donation in my husband's name. My husband's name is Sir Matt of Northeast Ohio, a longtime listener, and the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Aw.
The show? We just welcomed our first baby girl, Lydia Morgan, to the world. So here's $213 for her date of birth and $228 for the upcoming birthday.
Wow.
Or for his upcoming birthday, sorry. Please give them both some karma, and thank you for a great show.
Yeah, and congratulations, Lydia and Sir Matt, on the new human resource. That's fantastic. A new No Agenda producer.
You've got karma.
Next on the list is Eric Svensson, and he gives us $333.33 and sent a note in. And here's his jingles, by the way, because you don't have, unless you have the note in front of you.
No, I don't.
Can you see the juice?
Mm-hmm.
Someone's getting cornholed, and the OG Pelosi jobs karma.
Okay. All right.
Currently in Dallas, he writes, working with my auto finance employer on relocating to LA. They may dick me, I find out Friday. Jobs and karma, please. Looking for opportunities in the Los Angeles area for SaaS, Software as a Service, Customer Success Experience Managers, HMU, LinkedIn.com/IN, Eric Svensson, that's ERIK SVENDSON. If you're on LinkedIn, you can do a search on him.
And he'll be happy to have his executive producer credit right there in his LinkedIn profile.
That's what he does. You can also write him at eric@svensson.net. Love the show, love the digressions and into audio gear. Adam, did you ever eat that MK Ultra acid? Smiley face. Stay strong, stay juicy. Love and light.
Oh my gosh! Can you see that juice? Someone's getting cornhole today.
Sounds like a recipe for success to me.
Karma.
God. You're sick, people. You're sick.
Bryce Neseth. Or Neseth, I guess. In Barron, Wisconsin, 33333. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
Second investment, halfway to knighthood. Keep up the great work. I have an upcoming trip to visit the fiancé in Singapore, so I humbly request travel karma, immunity karma, and immigration karma for my fiancé as we attempt to gain the K-1 visa. Epstein didn't kill himself. Bryce from northwestern Wisconsin.
You've got karma.
Dropping down to associate executive producer, we start with Justin Bosar in San Francisco, 222.44. Been freeloading like swine for too long, so it's time to chip in before the Trump bubble bursts. For what it's worth, I enjoyed John's last cognac-fueled rapprochement on Twit. Hope it's not the last. It was 2 years ago. Cheers.
Hey, speaking of chip in, hold on a second. The president sent me another note, and I believe he used the chip in. Hold on a second. Let me find it here. And it was, what was the last one I got where it was 5 times match? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, they've changed it now. They've changed it up. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to do it in the voice in which it is written. If I raise my voice, that is all caps. We start. This text is your official notice. Your final deadline to support President Trump with 500% matched funds has been extended 3 more hours. 500% now. They're trying everything to get me into their subscription.
Well, 500% is the same as 5X.
I know. Hello, of course, but it sounds better.
They're trying to trick you, yeah.
Yes, because I'm dumb.
And I didn't realize that the copywriter for all these things was Comic Strip Blogger. Huh.
Well, there you go. Now you know why he's been hanging around all this time.
Well, there's good money in it.
Learning how to get us to chip in.
So I think that this is, to me, they have a lot of nerve, in my opinion, to send notes out like that.
It's very entertaining. It really is, and I loved our animated No Agenda version of that. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Oh my God, so funny. It's really good.
Tom, onward with Tom Bayard, brother. Krukenstad in Tilburg.
Krukenstad
in Tilburg, Netherlands, Holland. If you hadn't figured that out by now. I TM John and Adam. Tomorrow's my 38th Tour du Soleil, and the most no agenda like festivities are almost there. Carnival, aka Vastolovend. It's like a party.
Well, that's
all the more reasons for the early contribution to the best podcast in the universe. Please accept my gift of 2 times 11 at 11111. Without your show, I sure would transform back to Dimension B. Oh, we pulled him out of Dimension B.
Saved him.
Huh. Especially here in the lowlands where the M5M U.S. pundits are the son-in-law of the Speaker of the House and LibJoe Eric Mouton. Yeah,
this is the guy
traveling to your side of the pond, and
this is the guy who is
in Florida.
This is the guy who is engaged to Pelosi's daughter, Christine Pelosi.
Oh, and he's a Dutchman?
Yes.
Huh.
Yep.
Shout out to my smoking hot fiance, Shaki. She's the best. 10/10/2020 is the magic date. Good idea. In November, we'll be traveling to your side of the pond and have you're traveling to have the honeymoon in Florida and the tropical islands of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. It's the best time for a romantic road cuisine trip and listening together in some epic, crazy election news deconstruction. It's true. Please accept these jingle requests. Effing cancer karma or goat karma for my dear friend Rollo. Keep the faith. Jobs karma, Pelosi and Trump. Obama chicken dance. Most carnival-like jingle I could find. Or yes. As an alternative, the magical shape-shifting Jews. I think the chicken dance is better. Yep. Thank you for all your efforts in keeping us sane. Wishing all the No Agenda listeners ein fein Vassal to Verdovenwend.
Perfect. Nailed it. Excellent.
Tom Baird. Krukstadt.
Kraukenstadt. Kraukenstadt, yes.
Kraukenstadt.
So the Dutch take their carnival very seriously. And it's just a whole weekend of drinking, and the songs are pretty much like the Obama chicken dance. Exactly. Here we go.
Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey.
Jobs.
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 And jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
There we go. Thanks, Tom.
Sir Dirt Farmer comes up next, $212.18. Wild group for some reason. They must have loved the essay.
Yes.
Jingo request. Chemtrails is true. Obama, China a-hole. The show has been stellar as of late, and I greatly appreciate your in-depth analysis. I find it interesting that today when I tried to access Dvorak.org from my work PC, that my company has blocked the website and categorized it as adult humor.
Can't have that, slaves. Can't have adult humor.
This is your free and open internet in the great American country that we live.
Slave.
I guess you should have that going for you, I guess. I would like to get an update on the potential for Adam to tour John's studio when he's in California. For some reason, this possibility is intriguing. Perhaps it's a good opportunity for another fundraising gimmick. Adam, if you get a tour, perhaps you should take a can of oil for the squeaky chair. Please give me a big helping of travel goat karma from my wife, and I are taking out our 3 human resources on vacation next week, and it will be a lengthy flight there and back. Best regards, Sir Dirt Farmer.
Yeah, I've thought about this, Sir Dirt Farmer, and I don't think I want to see John's studio. It might ruin the vision I've built up of it over a good 12, 13 years.
No, now see, this is what I see is as though I can't see through this ploy. What Adam's doing here is...
I'm honest. Okay, what's my ploy? And then I'll tell you what the real ploy is. You analyze that, and I'll tell you what's really going on.
Adam knows I've got the cleaning maniac, Jay, and myself included. I can clean. That if Adam's going to come, if I agree to let him see the place, it'll be clean as a whistle. It'll be spanking, it'd be just gleaming. But if he thinks that he's not going to come, I don't give a crap, it'll be the mess that it is, and that's what he wants to see.
Wrong again.
Yeah, says you.
Okay, let's play his requested jingle.
China is asshole.
You've got karma.
And Sir Atomic Rod Adams showed up there in Florida.
Cool.
$200.
How's Atomic Rod doing?
Recently over some atomic energy stuff from Atomic Rod. I wanted to let you know that there's a lot happening in advanced nuclear tech these days. You can learn more from my Twitter feed at Atomic Rod.
Yes.
Atomic Insights is still a good place to find other older info, but I've been too busy with a new job at a capitalist as a capitalist, to do much more writing. No jingles, just karma.
I know, doesn't it suck when you're a capitalist? Atomic Rod, and I would, he has a podcast. He does a blog. If you really want to know, and he's taught us, I think, pretty much everything that we know about atomic energy. And the whole backyard nukes conversation started years and years and years ago. And he would know. He formerly was on a nuclear submarine. He was captain, commander. I don't know. We always give him more than it was, but I think he was actually in charge of the entire fleet. And we're very proud to have him. Very proud to have him as one of our associate executive producers today. Thank you very much, Atomic Rod.
You've got karma.
Brian Warden, $200. Howdy, gents. I just need a job of karma for my wife. Current proven version would be fine. Also, a happy birthday shout out to my oldest, Jack, who is turning 15.
All right.
On the 24th. No jingles.
Okay. Where's he from? Do we know?
It's not on.
All right, Brian. Yeah, absolutely. Jobs, the approved one.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
There you go.
Now we have fakeologist.com in Toronto, Canada, who sent a Canadian dollarette check of $200 so he gets credit. I'm also looking there down one list is to Kalen, who's going to get mentioned anyway for $199.99. I don't know what the point of that.
You mean Kalen Nisser came in with 1 penny shy? Well, you know what? Hey, let me do this. I have one here. Somewhere I have. There it is. I just dropped a penny. So now he's also an associate executive producer.
Fakeologist.com writes, I find my $200 Canadian dollarettes check to make my 4th annual donation, keeping me one step closer to Canadian knighthood. My blog, fakeologist.com, is all about exposing media fakery. Every major media event is a hyper-realistic drill portrayed as real, including 9/11. As shown in the blockbuster YouTube movie, September Clues.
Oh, that is a pretty good one.
I've also got research that shows nuclear science is based on science fakery, which is good news if you believe in nuclear weapons. Have you ever considered that nukes were fake? How about, this is right after Rod Adams' donation. I just love these.
This is great. It could not have been more perfect.
Random number event. Have you ever considered that nukes were fake? How about nuclear power? If the power stations were fake, that certainly better explains why this magical energy isn't used everywhere to replace all the other sources.
Oh, well, that's a good conspiracy theory. I hadn't heard that one. I like it.
It's one giant 124-year worldwide fraud. Thanks for considering this idea. No jingles, no karma. Soon to be Sir Fakeologist.
I'm going to give one jingle to him.
WTC7 won't go away.
And that concludes our list of associate executive producers and executive producers.
Colin Nistor.
Oh, yeah, we're moving Colin Nistor, but all he says is keep on trucking.
Oh, okay. Didn't have any big note. Okay.
Yeah, it's Colin. He's in Northville, Michigan.
Well, I have to say, despite your essay in the newsletter, good showing today.
Yes.
Because typically when we put actual content, maybe this is a turning point.
You know what I think it was? Just for insiders who like to do these, like look into why something works and why something doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I think the point of the article was that the money being spent by Bloomberg, this was all bitching and moaning. The article, the essay was about the effectiveness of advertising.
Right.
And with some possibility that it's not going to be effective when it comes to Bloomberg at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
After he dropped $600 million of his own money into the campaign and brags about it, which is a pittance compared to what he has. And so I think there was the element of, well, here's how we do it. We do it differently than just throwing money at it. And we don't accept Bloomberg ads. So we're going to actually talk about things about Bloomberg that no one else will talk about.
In fact, Bloomberg has really been spreading the love online. Have you seen he was paying Instagram influencers $150 a pop just to put something in your comments?
Yeah.
And what a bonanza it could have been if we were a commercial outfit.
Oh, yeah, we'd be cleaning up.
That's beautiful. And yeah.
Mini Mike, how can the president call him that? It's ridiculous. What a horrible person Trump is.
What are you reading? Where's this coming from?
I'm just saying, I'm just showing what the show would be like.
I'm sorry. How about this? I'll try it on for size. This is how it works. I really appreciate Mike Bloomberg. He sees the America that I see. He wants to help people directly. You call him a billionaire, but he gives away tens of billions of dollars to the most charitable, fantastic causes. He's a true patriot.
I've heard he's a pretty good guy, too.
All right. Well, I'll cut that out and I'll send it in as a submission. And I would like
Where's our money?
I would like to say that today is the official Pechakucha Day. This is the project that was started years ago by Dame Astrid and Sir Mark. Pechakucha, Pechakucha. It's 20 slides, 20 seconds per slide. It's global. Everywhere in the world, these Pechakuchas will be taking place. It's their version of a no agenda, value for value. Go to pechakucha.org and see if there's one near you. It's really a fantastic. It's really a great gathering, and it goes by quick. It's fun, and there's hot chicks there. I hear. Yeah. And
I should do a no agenda slideshow.
What for Pechakucha?
Yeah. Why what we're doing is important and why it really matters.
Well, if someone will put it together, I'll present it.
I can put it together.
Oh, my goodness. 20 slides. How many times do I get to twitch and blink per slide? Like 8 or 9?
You got 20 seconds. You got all the blinking and winking and squirming and jumping. And
thank you very much to our executive producers and our associate executive producers for supporting this program, keeping the lights on, keeping it running, and for showing us just how valuable the work is that is done here by all producers of Gitmo Nation, because everyone is putting this show together. We just happen to be tasked with the actual work part of it. But thank you. And if you'd like to support us for our show coming up on Sunday, I will be in Florida doing the show live from there. And, of course, that means we have a meetup on Friday. But Sunday we'll need your help. Go to Dvorak.org/NA. I think you're pretty much up to date. You can sound intelligent about the debate. Ain't that true?
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
By the way, since someone brought that up, thinking that was New Water Order, or I've received several notes from people who said that they also misunderstood that New World Order jingle, which we've been playing for about 10, 11 years. And people think it's You Order Water. Yeah, there's all kinds of interesting ways that's been interpreted. I kind of like that.
You order
water. This is great. Hey, so the president issued some pardons and commutations, which received a lot of attention from the M5M. Did you pick up on anything?
Well, I noticed that they're bitching and moaning. In fact, I do have a clip. I think there's a clip.
Good. That's
where they mention, I think this is under one of Amy's clips. Let me see what we got here. Try to pardon. Oh, yeah, this might be it. Try to pardon Stone, Trump, Democracy Now!
President Trump issued a wave of pardons and commutations Tuesday to a group of his political allies, circumventing the normal Justice Department process. Among the 11 people granted clemency Tuesday were former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, who had been jailed for attempting to sell Barack Obama's U.S. Senate seat, former New York Police Commissioner Bernie Kerik, who was convicted of tax fraud and lying to officials, and investment banker Mike Milken, who was convicted of securities fraud and conspiracy and was best known as the junk bond king. The clemency comes amid speculation Trump might also try to pardon his longtime friend and former campaign advisor, Roger Stone.
Hey, you hit my eye with that thing. Put it back. Stone, it just happened, I guess, in the last couple of minutes. 40 months. He's been sentenced to 40 months for lying to Congress. By my calculation, that is the magic number. 3.333 years. Am I right on that?
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's code then. Okay.
Yeah,
That's good for him. Now, a couple of things she says in there. She says she slants the story. That's why I gave the boing at the end, because she deserved it.
Yeah.
Political allies, Blogo, and out of Illinois. When is he a political ally?
Well, when you're done analyzing what she said,
I mean,
I have. No, go ahead. What else? Go down the list.
Well,
and I'll come back
Milken
to
is another one. I don't know that they've ever done business together, or even knows the guy. But Milken was the guy who invented the junk bond. It really helped bring the country back from its couple of slumps, and the junk bonds actually work. People don't want to admit it, but the whole Wynn empire was built on junk bonds. The Mirage Hotel was built on junk bonds. It was very successful. And
he also wasn't in jail anymore.
No, he's not in jail, but he needed the pardon because now he can get his licenses and everything back.
Right, he can go and trade again.
I would like to see if Michael Milken, who was a genuine genius, who was set up by Ivan
Boesky.
His first name Boesky is the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame because the guy Milken's one of the smartest finance guys in the history of the country, and he should be back in business.
Well, let's run down the list here because there is something going on with this. So we had Edward D. Bartolo Jr. He's he owned the San Francisco 49ers. And so I'm not quite sure. I think maybe doesn't he live in Ohio or something? I think he's in Ohio now.
He's a super mall builder guy in that category of person.
Right, but I think
he does live in Ohio.
Yes, I think that's he wants. Trump is doing that for Ohio support for the election. I pretty much can deconstruct most of these. We just went through Milken. Then we have Ariel Friedler. Don't know much about him. Bernard Kerik. This was wasn't this the police commissioner who got caught on like Nannygate? Because I think I was in New York at the time.
To be honest about it, I don't know anything about that guy.
Well, he got screwed. He was he led the
most of these guys got screwed. That's why I think these were legit. Unlike what Amy said, against the department guidelines. The guy could.
Okay.
He can.
Well, let me tell you what's going on here because I figured it out the minute I saw the mainstream. I mean, there's a lot of people you could jump on, and they completely ignored the women who who received pardons or pardons actually for. No, actually, maybe it's been commutations, but they're out of jail. Women who were involved in nonviolent drug crimes. Some of them, just. Deserve to get out, I think. I think they did their time. They got a little railroaded. So that's been completely ignored. Everyone focused on Blagojevich. And Trump himself said, well, yeah, I met him a few times. I just felt that he'd been he wasn't pardoned. His sentence was commuted, which means you're done. So you're still guilty. You still did it all, but you can get out of jail now. And the way the mainstream jumped all over that got my no agenda producer sense tingly, and I went back to our notes because
good point.
This went down when we were. Well, actually, it goes back to before the show started, and it deserves. Yes, it does. It goes back to when Obama became senator for Illinois. That's before the show started.
That is, but not.
But this is all a part of it. Because if you go and listen to, there's a famous tape of Blagojevich, and he's talking about how, how I've got something to trade, I've got this valuable Senate seat, etc. It was really only about 2 or 3% of everything that was recorded at the time. And you've got to ask, why was Blagojevich being wiretapped by the FBI? Was it just because he was trying to sell the Obama Senate seat? No. We do have to go back to how Obama got his Senate seat in the first place, because this is all Chicago politics, and Trump's commutation, getting Blagojevich out of jail, is a big FU to Obama, and I'll explain why. So when Obama met David Axelrod, at the time, David Axelrod had just left the Tribune Company in Chicago, where he was the City Hall editor, so very closely tied to Chicago politics. He was a consultant who he himself said he packages up black politicians for white voters. So he became Obama's main man. In order to get his Senate seat, there were two people in the way. One was a billionaire hedge fund guy, and who was way ahead of Obama in the polls for the nomination for to be the senator. So this was a primary. I'm not quite sure what it was. I have all this in the show notes, by the way. I'm just trying to go through it quickly. And then suddenly, documents leaked about his contestor that he in his divorce papers, which both he and his ex-wife had sealed, they were leaked by the Tribune Company. Of course, there's David Axelrod, and it showed that there had been some spousal abuse. Then there was
punched her.
Then there was no. He actually kicked her in the shin because she was kicking him. But when they did a debate, there was a 4-minute segment, so that killed the guy's chances. Then they had Jack Ryan. This guy. By the way, I
don't want to stop your flow, but you can collect yourself. This is very similar to and parallels a bit the way Hillary got her Senate seat. If you remember, all of a sudden, she's running against the guy that would be unstoppable, which was Rudy Giuliani. But somehow, Giuliani gets cancer? Or a cancer scare or something. He has to drop out. She just gives it to her.
Exactly.
So I remember this bull crap about this guy.
Well, then who
should have beaten Obama.
Well, then we had the second one. Then there was Jack Ryan. This guy is handsome, also multimillionaire, very well connected in politics, and he is clearly going to ring Obama's bell in this. But the Tribune Company once again finds leaked documents from the sealed divorce papers between Jack Ryan and his ex-wife Jerry, who we know as 7 of 9 of Deep Space Nine. And there it showed, and was kind of funny because they had disagreements over group sex and sex clubs, and it was, interestingly enough, she wanted to do it and he didn't. So, but it was a scandal.
It was the other way around.
No, I know. I went back and looked at it. So the guy actually got excoriated for not wanting to have other people bang his wife in the sex club. But whatever, that was another scandal, and whoop, Obama pops right in. So Obama was a state senator for a number of years, and his main fundraiser is a guy named Tony Rezko, R-E-Z-K-O. You might want to look that one up. Tony Rezko is incredibly corrupt. And he also helped Blagojevich fund his campaigns, all of Obama's campaigns. And that's where the FBI trouble started. And by the way, there was all kinds of alleged payoffs where Obama bought a house next to Rezko. Rezko then sold him a little piece of land for payoffs, basically. And Obama has admitted, that was a mistake. I never should have done a deal with that numbnuck, even though they were best buds. What Blagojevich was ultimately, because there was 2 trials. The first one, hung jury. They couldn't convict him on anything on these phone calls. They just said, the guy's braggadocious, but he really didn't do anything wrong. And they finally nailed him on asking for campaign contributions for an increase in Medicare payments to a hospital. And here's the problem. On the board of the running the board of the Illinois Hospital and Medical, I don't know exactly what it's called, was Barack Obama. He was part of corruption in Chicago and payoffs between Rezko and the medical industry, the hospital, everyone you can imagine, because that's how politics works, and that's certainly how Chicago politics works. So the guy that Blagojevich was discussing this with on this phone call, and again, you've only heard a little bit. You didn't hear the whole setup to it, which probably would have exonerated him, where Blagojevich was really saying, this guy, these effing Obamas, full of tricks, all this stuff, I'm sick and tired of it. And he essentially laid out the corruption that Obama was involved in. So Trump has... And I'm sorry, Blagojevich got 14 years. His co-conspirator, much more corrupt than him, actually involved in the payoffs, got 10 and a half years. Why? They wanted to shut Blagojevich up, shut him up for Obama's term, possible second term, and another term after that, and another term after that. And Trump has pulled him out, and he is going to rat Obama out. Target number one, no small aircraft, no hot tubs, stay away from hair dryers in the bathroom. Blagojevich has a big target on his head, and Trump, no one caught this, except I think a lot in the mainstream know it, and they immediately went to, it's his buddy, he was on Apprentice. No, all of this is total horse crap. This is, it's on. It's on, and we'll see, but Trump did this either to just make everybody worried because there's a lot of people involved in this, a lot of names. Axelrod is still on TV. Not that he's a big fish. There's a lot of people involved. The Pritzkers. This is such a Chicago shitstorm. And all these links are in the show notes. Take a look at it. You will be astounded, and you'll understand why this protectionism of Obama is outing itself as Blagojevich is a crook. Yeah, he is. He's crooked. This is what politicians do. Give me a campaign donation. I'll get a contract for your military-industrial complex company. And maybe this is the overarching point that I'm not prepared to unravel today, but I've been looking at how this kind of what they call the deep state, or what would the administrative state, the stuff that really, all these people, the judges, the judge who just sentenced Stone to 40 months, all of this, and you can help me with this, I think started with FDR. And FDR was the champion at giving away government money, programs that he invented. Of course, we had the New Deal, but there was all these programs that he would give money to political friends, but not just that, he'd give it to the media. In fact, I found out that he delivered huge amounts of money to LBJ, so Texas would be all in on it. LBJ passed that money on to Brown and Root. I didn't even know that he was a part of that. That's Kellogg, Brown, and Root. That's Halliburton. This goes way back. What you see with these little people at the top, with a Comey, or what's the FBI dickhead who didn't get convicted of anything, McCabe. They're all part of it. They're all part of what the national security bureaucracy, all these little intelligence agencies. It's a mess, and I don't think
10,000 sealed indictments.
Yeah, precisely. God bless him. I don't think Trump can blast through all of this. It's impossible.
He can't blast through any of it.
But this is what's going on here. And I like that he's playing this angle. Let's see what happens. We have to keep our eye on it now because no one else will. No one understands what's happening here.
Well, they don't care.
I care. I think it's fantastic.
No, I said they don't care. I didn't say you care plenty.
Yeah, so I would love for all producers, this is your eyes peeled warning. And just to wrap this up, this little segment, the first part is this complaining about Barr should. I told you this was going to be a big deal. Barr should resign. It's crazy. We got 2,000 people, former prosecutors signing a letter. A letter. Oh my God, a letter. He has to resign. He's taking instructions from the president. This is wrong. This is not how it's supposed to work. No, in the NSB, the National Security Bureaucracy, that is indeed not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to let them handle everything. Unfortunately, it's always been this way. This is Eric Holder, President Obama's Attorney General for the first 6 years of his presidency on The Breakfast Club. He called in and talked about his relationship with President Obama. Remember, this is the Trump-Barr relationship of the Obama presidency.
You going to stay around for all 4 years?
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Come on, man. Come on.
We need you.
I got to ask. Come on, Mr. Attorney General, please.
So I'm happy. I'm still enjoying what I'm doing. There's still work to be done. I'm still a president's wingman, so I'm there with my boy.
Yeah.
And so, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm still the president's wingman. I'm his boy. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. But oh no, can't be the lawyer of the president. You have to be the lawyer of the United States.
Well, this is pretty transparent. Here, play this clip, Firestorm over the 2,000 ex-DOJs. I got a comment about this.
Next tonight, the growing firestorm surrounding Attorney General William Barr. More than 2,000 former Justice Department prosecutors and officials now publicly calling for his resignation. The AG facing heavy criticism for intervening in the sentencing of President Trump's longtime friend Roger Stone. That sentencing now set for Thursday.
Longtime friend. Now, this, if you remember, about 6 months, it may have even been a year ago, but I think it was more like between 6 months and a year ago, 9 months maybe. There was the same 2,000 ex-DOJ guys who signed a petition saying that the president should be, I believe, should be impeached. And this is just a mailing list. This is a group of 2,000 that are all Democrats. And it was signed
mailing list. You're right.
So I looked into, first time it happened, which is the same 2,000 guys. You can look at the list. It's the same people. I looked into this back then when it happened the first time, and I tracked down 2 or 3 of them and wrote them, emailed them. Maybe I tracked down more than that, but I only got responses from 2 or 3 of them.
Wait, you were trying, so did you acquire the entire list?
The list is available.
That's a hot list, man.
The article that ran in Medium is the same list that they just ran with these
John,
people.
you know what we can do with this list? Here, we'll send the email. I saw what you were doing. I was able to turn on your webcam. I saw what you were watching.
Yeah,
you need to send me 5 Bitcoin. Come on, man. It's a great list. It's a great list to do that for.
I don't have the emails. It's just a list of names.
That's a problem. Yeah.
So I had to dig through and dig around, and I finally got the emails for maybe 5 or 6 of them, because some of them are in famous law firms, and you go to the website, and there's the guy. And, ex-DOJ. It's amazing how many ex-DOJ people there are in giant law firms.
Yeah.
So I sent a bunch of notes out because I thought this sounded like a bunch of bull crap, and they're just just putting people's names down, like petitioners do. Mm-hmm. But no, they wrote back, no, I wrote, and they were all irked that I even questioned that they'd signed onto this thing. And you could tell they're all just a bunch of either never Trumpers or just Democrats that don't like Trump. And it's the same group. So this is going to crop up every 6 to 9 months. 2,000 ex-DOJs saying that Trump did the wrong thing. This is bull crap.
Good.
And the fact that ABC News and so did Democracy Now! Just played it straight is just beyond the pale as far as I'm concerned. Just bad coverage. It's not very well done.
Good deconstruction. I had forgotten all about that list. That makes so much sense. What a bunch. It's hooey. It's malarkey, I say.
It's malarkey.
But if you really want to know the constitutionality of it, you got to go to the constitutional lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, because he knows if this is legal. Can you do that? Can you open investigations? And he has an interesting example.
There was a lot of White House control of the Justice Department during the Kennedy administration, and I don't think we saw very many liberal professors arguing against that. I have some information as well about the Obama administration, which will be disclosed in a lawsuit at some point, but I'm not prepared to disclose it now, about how President Obama personally asked the FBI to investigate somebody on behalf of George Soros, who was a close ally of his. We've seen this kind of White House influence on the Justice Department virtually in every Justice Department. The difference is this president is much more overt about it. He tweets about it. President Obama whispered to the Justice Department about it, and I don't think these 1,000 former Justice Department officials would pass the shoe on the other foot test. Maybe some of them would, but a good many of them wouldn't. And let's be very clear about the constitutionality. The president could make a decision to really control the Justice Department. He could decide who to prosecute, who not to prosecute. He shouldn't do it. It hasn't been done since Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson did do it. We've seen this throughout our history.
You said that George Soros asked Barack Obama to have his Justice Department investigate somebody?
That's going to come out in a lawsuit in the near future. Yeah, that is not unusual. People whisper to presidents all the time. Presidents whisper to Justice Department all the time. It's very common. It's wrong. Whoever does it, but it's common, and we shouldn't think that it's unique to any particular president. I have in my possession the actual 302 form, which documents this issue, and it will, at the right time, come out. But I'm not free to disclose it now because it's a case that's not yet been filed.
How juicy.
This guy's a genius.
I can't wait to find out who Soros wanted to. I forget that Obama that took care of it, but who was it? I can't wait to find out.
Well, we're going to find out unless it's another, or it's going to go thrown into the pile of 10,000 sealed indictments.
Nah, Dershowitz kind of, he doesn't say stuff if he doesn't mean it, is the impression I get. But it's a good point, because after the media, the M5M tried so desperately, Bolton. We need Bolton on the stand. Bolton. I think this was another masterstroke. I think it was a scam. I think Bolton was in cahoots with Trump and played everybody. Here's Chris Matthews grousing about the latest news.
Tonight, former National Security Advisor John Bolton spoke publicly for the first time since the impeachment trial, where he discussed his unpublished manuscript, which reportedly contains new details of the Trump-Ukraine scandal. According to NBC News, when Bolton was asked about Trump's attacks, he said, "I say things in the manuscript about what President Trump said to me. I hope they become public someday. He tweets, but I can't talk about it. How fair is that?" He added, "We'll have to see what comes out of the censorship." When asked if Trump's call with Ukrainian President Zelensky was perfect, in quotes, Bolton said, "You'll love chapter 14. And when asked if he's concerned with Trump's attacks on Alexander Vindman and Marie Yovanovitch, Bolton said, "I think it's legitimate to worry about it."
Scammed. You've been punked. He's selling a book. And everyone's, well, what did he say? He's not even telling people what he said, what Trump allegedly said to him.
Hey, it's in chapter 14.
And all these dummies fell for it.
Well, they fell for it because they wanted to fall for it. Yeah, they're grasping at straws. They know they've got a problem.
They ground the news cycle to a halt for at least 4 days over this. What a waste of human energy. Bolton. Please.
Well, Bolton knows that if he does anything that was really disparaging, that he would be a jackal in the Republican Party. His whole world would be done. He'd be done for good. He's still playing. He must have been an ambassador, or he wants to do something. He must have some say.
Yeah, first of all, he's going to get a nice pile of money for this book. People will buy the book.
Yeah. So there's going to be nothing in the book.
Oh, of course not. Chapter 14 would be like, psych. Just one word, psych.
Psych. Yeah, well, welcome to the 70s. So I have a couple of offbeat clips. I got one here I think might be a good one to play. We used to do this more on the show than I've been doing it recently. Not we, it's mostly me. Watching ABC Nightly News with David Muir and finding the native ad.
Oh, yes. We always love the native ad. Unless it's the Ring doorbell. Kind of tired of that one.
Yeah, well, that's probably would put the kibosh on it. But now I've seen a new kind of native ad, and this is posing as a news article, as they do. It's a native ad. But it's one of these things. I started seeing this in the Super Bowl. There was one Super Bowl ad where the Coca-Cola Bears were there with Hertz, renting a Hertz car, and you drink and having a tasty freeze ice cream at a Dairy Queen. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of people ganged up, and to produce, they all jumped in on one ad.
Yeah, because it was expensive, so they figured let's triple up. Yeah.
Well, this is the new version of that. This is, and by the way, exactly if you take the intros and outros out,
get rid of 60 seconds, I'll bet.
60 seconds nails it right on the number.
Becca Jarvis, out to save your money tonight.
The long weekend almost over, but those President's Day deals still going strong online tonight. Everything from clothing to mattresses to electronics and appliances.
Lowe's is here to help you update those outdated appliances.
Now 40% off at Lowe's, Home Depot, and Best Buy, where you can also score a deal on TVs and laptops too. We found this Lenovo Chromebook for just $119.
Chromebook.
Now $50 off.
Maybe you didn't want to buy a new dishwasher for Christmas because that isn't that maybe exciting to some people, but this is the time of the season where these practical purchases could be at top of mind.
Plus, look for big discounts on winter stock, like an extra 20 to 30% off sale at Athleta, where we found this down jacket originally $198, now less than $60. And at J.Crew, an extra 60% off sale.
David, for additional savings, consider using apps like Honey and Rakuten, which gives you cash back at your favorite retailers. David?
All right, great advice, Rebecca. Thank you.
Nailed it. 60 seconds. Nailed it. Wow. Good catch. That's disgusting. And that was on the nightly news.
Yes, on the nightly news. That's your news for you. They slipped this bogus ad for a whole bunch of companies. They charge each one of them a piece of that, so they probably netted out more than you'd get for the native ad normally. You know how you do that, right? You divide it into 5 segments. So in this case, look, about 8 segments, and then we'll mention your name twice.
Yeah,
we're going to mention your name. We'll give you 2 products. What 2 products you want? Okay, we'll give you those 2 products.
The
this is going
Chromebook.
to cost you this. That's going to cost you that.
Yeah.
It's a scam, and this is the nightly news as it's posing as news.
Not how we do it.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
Yeah, 60% off.
Right.
I thank a few people for show 1218, starting with, we did Kayla in this store already. We're going to move to Forbes Benning, $146.82. He's in London, Ontario. It's actually $202 Canadian. We have to push him up.
Oh, he goes up. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. Let me make it.
Forbes, you'll be bumped up.
Make a note of that. Does he have any
that?
Yes, his note.
Dame Moneypenny's in here from Davis, California, $133.33. Got a birthday call out for a smoking hot husband. Vicky Ferris, 100. Nicholas Blexrud, I think, 8008. Another smoking hot wife call out for Anna. That'll be a birthday list. She's on the birthday list. Jan Willem Hiddink in Den Haag, Netherlands.
Very good.
8008. And then Eric Mackey, 8008. He's thinking, is he asking for a de-douching? Yep.
Okay.
You've been de-douched.
Sir Rick, Arlington, Washington, 6996. Baron Mark Tanner always comes in the same time with a check. 6789, along with Sir Rick. It's like a combo. They both come in. Scott Richardson in New Orleans, Louisiana, 6006, small boobs. Lauren De Bruin in Trondheim. Another birthday call out. He calls this a Pentium donation. It is 5860. Don't know. Sir Beardmaster, 5510. Andrew Dominici in Caguas, Puerto Rico. I don't know how to pronounce the name of that city. Caguas.
Sounds about right.
Stephen Schnelker. Stephen Schnelker in New Haven, Indiana. Need some jobs karma for Dame Fitness Fanatic. Would be appreciated. Put that at the end for you.
Sure will.
Dean Roker, 5510. Andre Pietju in Rishwick, Netherlands. How am I doing? That was I'm no good.
Well, that's Rijswijk.
Rijswijk.
You'll be made the mayor if you ever go over there. That will love you. Hey, it's this Dvorak. He's the mayor of Rijswijk.
Nancy Murphy in San Bruno, California. Gonna be a dame someday, she writes. 5244. Matthew Burns in Nelson, BC. 5225. Another birthday. This is birthday day.
It's nice.
Said to himself he's going to be 30. Thomas Follett in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Robert Case in Mill Spring, North Carolina, 50. These are $50 donors, name and location. Thomas, Robert, Jeremiah Tribal, Donald Richards in Franklin, Virginia. Brad Taylor in Duval, Washington. That's where the Franklin Mint is, I think. Robert Blank Shane.
Wait. He has emergency jobs karma. I'll do that at the end for you. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Well, continue. I got another when I finish this list. I want to read a little note. It's got another emergency jobs karma. Unless that was his. I don't think so.
No. I know what you're talking about. Yes. Good.
Yeah. Get that one back. We'll mention him and get him some emergency karma. Clayton, California is Sir Scott of Diablo Canyon. Something. I don't know. Scott Lavender in Montgomery, Texas.
Oh, it's Diablo, Sir Scott of Diablo.
Oh, Diablo. I see.
And he needs an emergency. Oh, he's emerging from douche hood to donate again. Good. Thank you. Good to see you back, Sir Scott of Diablo.
Scott Lavender, Sir Andrew Gusick in Greensboro, North Carolina. Sir Jerry Wingenroth in Saugus, California. And last but not least is Daniel Galloway in Marietta, Georgia. And we do have this note from, who is it?
I think it actually was from Robert.
Robert Blankshan, yeah.
Okay. I'd like to ask for an emergency jobs karma from my mom, Mana Blankshan. I'm a poor college student who cannot donate very much, but without my mother, I would not have what I have to give, nor the opportunity to receive such an education as I am now without her support. It is times like these when one can turn to their community for help, and I feel as though no agenda through the power of concentrated goodwill can generate extraordinary results. The last emergency jobs karma I asked for worked to abate the coming disaster, but even darker waters loom ahead. I believe some added karma can boost the results of the last. Hopefully, this compounded effect will be just what is needed to help her company get back on track. Well, of course, I'm happy to do that.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Yeah, I got something's broken here. Something's very broken.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to stop tape for a second.
Stop tape.
Yeah, tape is stopped. When that one clip was mono, was one channel, and then I panned it to both. Now, for some reason, it's out of whack, and I got to figure out for a second what's happening here, because it's not one channel significantly louder than the other. So hold on, I can do it with karma.
You've got karma.
Is that better? Let me try this.
Always sounded fine to me.
No.
You've got karma.
Yeah, hold on.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Okay, one more. Okay. Luckily, there weren't too many clips that we played shitty like that, but okay. Let me see where we were. Hold on. I got something's broken here. I'm going to come in with a karma. That'll fix that. Okay.
And jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, let me do that over here.
You've got karma.
Now, I also got a request from Sir Chris Wilson. We do break for our nights. Please, emergency karma to Sir Felix's school buddy Logan, who was taken to hospital this afternoon, and for his family as well. So, of course, we'll do that.
You've got karma.
And that's it, I guess, for our donors, yeah?
Yeah, that's it. That will be it for show 1218. These are the producers, and earlier we had the others, the associate and executive producers.
Yes. Yeah,
I want to thank every one of them and all the people that came in with the lesser amounts for helping us get through this show, which was actually a good show.
Yeah, and we appreciate it. And we will be doing it all over again on Sunday, and we would like you to consider helping out again, or maybe for the first time, you'll get a dedouching for it. Just go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
I think we had one jobs karma that someone needed, just extra one.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Well, today is that special day. It is 2020, and we have some birthdays. Sir Andy of Terrigal Beach says happy birthday to his daughter Sophia. She turns 14 on the 22nd. Jamie Bright says happy birthday to her smoking hot husband, Sir Matt of Northeast Ohio. Tom Bjard Kraukenstock will be 38. I guess his birthday is today. Brian Warden says happy birthday to his son Jack, 15 on the 24th. Dame Moneypenny, happy birthday to her smoking hot hubby, Surreptitious Knight of the Marin Headlands. It's his birthday today. Nicholas Flexrud says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Anna. Belated Lawrence the Brown celebrated on the 17th. And finally, Matt Burns turns 30 today. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. Okay, and finally, we've got a knighting. This actually, yes. a daming, no less. So, get the.
Here you go.
That's the one. Artemis, hop up on stage. You, young lady, are about to become a dame of the No Agenda Roundtable. This is where we have everyone here who has supported the show in the amount of $1,000 or more. That gets you a seat at this coveted roundtable, and I'm very proud to pronounce the Dame of the Waxing Moon. Dame of the No Agenda Roundtable for you. We've got, if you want them, hookers and blow, or perhaps some Rent Boys and Chardonnay. They're right over there behind door number 2. We got single malt scotch. We've got Pug and Poi, bourbon and bong rips, cold brew coffee and cannabis, goat chops and goat milk, pepperoni rolls and pale ales, beer and blunts, Rubenesque women and rosé, maybe vodka, vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, ginger ale and gerbils, or everybody's favorites, mutton and mead. And you, Dame of the Waxing Moon, should go to noagendanation.com/rings. Give us all the info. We'll gladly send out your Dame ring along with your sealing wax and your official certificate. And congratulations. Welcome to the round table. The place is a lot better looking now that you're here.
Title changes, turn and face the slave. Title changes, don't wanna be a douchebag.
And we have a title change, as you heard earlier. He's now the boss of you. Baron Walkman becomes Earl, and hereby will be known as the Earl of Ohio. Watch out, he's in charge.
No one should
It is like a party. No meetup reports for today, but we do have an overview of what's coming up. This is where people go hang out together who are producers of the No Agenda show. They meet all around the world and can pretty much discuss anything without triggering, because not only do they have healthy-sized amygdalas, these meetups make them even healthier. And today, Kitchener, Ontario, Local 42033 will be meeting at Moose Winooski's in Kitchener. That'll be at 7 o'clock tonight. What? You okay?
Nothing. No. Go.
What's wrong?
Nothing. I just made a noise.
You groaned.
You dropped the whole ball here. I'm not even near the mic.
Well, I have sensitive ears.
Drat you, Mike.
Magnolia, Texas, NA Local 667. Also tonight, Houstonians come for craft brews at the Lone Pint Brewery in downtown Magnolia, Texas. Texas Joe organizing for you. Then, tomorrow, the Keeper and I will be at Delray Beach, 6 o'clock. That will be, this is South Florida meetup at the Saltwater Brewery. This will be at 6 o'clock. We're very excited. Look forward to seeing all of you there. Saturday, Snow Agenda Banff. That is a meeting on the slopes for the Snow Agenda details. Josh Cox has everything on noagendameetups.com. San Antone on Saturday, 5:30 at the Flying Saucer on Hubner Road. Andrew White organizing for you. In New Mexico, Albuquerque, Sidetrack Brewing. This is Sir Jeff Tuig. Go tell him to stop driving motorcycles. I've known the guy for a couple of years during the show. Twice he's been knocked off his motorcycle. So he's been banged up and he's back in the saddle. That'll be at 3 o'clock. Springfield, Missouri on Saturday at Lindbergh's Tavern. We have the LAX Flight 002 of the No Agenda, 3 o'clock on Saturday at LAX. This will be in FEMA Region 9 at the Proud Bird on Aviation Boulevard. Leo Bravo organizing for you. Missoula, Montana, Local 406 on Saturday, second meetup. Christopher Raymer will be hosting that. 3 Mile Island Evac Zone meetup, 6 o'clock. That'll be Pennsylvania, of course, at the Hillside Cafe, Goldsboro, Pennsylvania. Durham, North Carolina, 2 o'clock. And a shrinking amygdala will leave more brain room for the thinky stuff, says organizer TJ. Meet at Briar Creek Beer Garden in Raleigh. And that's what's coming up. Oh, I should probably give you Monday and Wednesday as well. Monday, the 24th, the London UK meetup at the Victorian. That's near Paddington Station. Make sure you go there. It's a great meetup. Londoners are a lot of Londoners. It's fun. Wednesday is Vancouver, British Columbia.
Wait, you're going to be at Paddington Station?
Near at the Victorian, near Paddington Station.
Oh, that's the place. Oh, that's the place where you have all the meetups.
Yes, it's near Paddington Station. It's easy. That's how Londoners talk. So, I can get there from what station? Paddington Station.
Yeah, Paddington. You get out there, boom, you're there.
No Agenda styly musical marijuanical meetup for the masses. Sounds like a stoner thing. That'll be at 12 Kings Pub, Vancouver, BC. Adam Bowen hosting for you. Brand new on the list, Nuremberg Embedded World Meetup, 7:30 at the Kloster, KLOSTR. That'll be organized by Lawrence, and that's 7:30 in Deutschland, Nuremberg. And then Friday, finally, the Bay Area Troll Moot in... I think you should be at this one, John. The Bay Area Troll Moot. That's not this Friday, but next Friday at Drake's dealership. Jennifer and Sean organizing for you. There's a lot of meetups taking place. If you didn't hear anyone on this list that's near you, go to noagendameetups.com. You can search on date, etc. And if you can't find anything near you, for God's sakes, man, set one up yourself. It's like a party. noagendameetups.com.
Living as a slave in the world today takes everything you got. Seeing heads on a stick of Dvorak and Curry sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
I played the wrong one. This is the shorter one.
Sometimes you wanna go hang out with all the nights and days. You wanna be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You wanna be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
And I love our family. I love our No Agenda family. What a bunch of crazy fuckers y'all are.
And
that's a Sandy and let me look, here's the deal.
Look, here's the deal. Look. Let's catch up with some international news for people.
Yes, I have some international news too. Yes, what you got?
Yes, I get the parallel. If we got two governments at the same time. It's like a juggling act. This parallel Afghani winners.
In Afghanistan, President Ashraf Ghani has been declared the winner of last year's presidential election after the results were delayed for 5 months. But Ghani's main opponent, Abdullah Abdullah, has also declared himself the winner and says he'll form a parallel government. The political chaos comes amidst breakthroughs in the peace negotiations between the U.S. and the Taliban, with a peace plan expected to be announced in the coming days.
I was watching a story about, it wasn't clippable, about the defense budget. I mean, Trump literally cut $500 billion from Afghanistan. Of course, it's proposed. The administrative state will still try to do whatever they can. But yeah, $500 billion cut from Afghanistan. I think another $600 billion cut from Iraq. He's just taking the money away. And also, no new drones. Found that interesting. No new drones.
Or droned out?
Yeah, maybe the old ones are still
drone
good.
To the gills? We don't need new drones?
I think it's all Space Force now. I think it's lasers from space.
Space Force.
The drones are just in the way of the laser beam.
Laser beam, can you imagine?
Well, yeah.
Guy standing there.
Oh. Not only can I imagine, I'm sure it's completely possible. I mean, they have lasers to take drones out from the ground. Why wouldn't you have a laser from space?
I feel so hot, honey. Bill!
It wasn't...
Why? Yeah, it's possible.
I'm waiting for your drama to end. Yeah.
Okay, what else?
I want to talk about...
Here's a story that nobody on the mainstream is discussing whatsoever. The Cameroon massacre.
Oh, geez, I didn't even know about this.
In Cameroon, the United Nations says at least 22 people were killed, including 14 children, in a massacre Friday and in the Anglophone region of the country. An opposition party has blamed the killings on the army, which the army's denied. The massacre comes amidst a conflict between the Cameroon army and English-speaking separatist fighters, which has killed thousands of people and has forced more than 500,000 civilians to flee their homes.
Half a million refugees from this, and we haven't heard one word of it?
Well, you know why, don't you?
English-speaking army versus
Trump. Come on. You know why.
Trump.
There is no news here. There's zero news. No one cares anymore. Even Brexit. There's interesting things going on. In particular,
you got something?
Well, yes, as predicted, the European Union is making it as difficult as possible. In fact, Guy Verhofstadt came out with a quote and said, negotiations with the UK and EU? No. It's a hell of a job to do this. It's like being on two different planets. And it's gotten so bad that the EU is possibly going to force the UK to return the Elgin marbles. Which you may not know what they are now that I think about it.
I do not know what this is, but so you're going to have to tell me.
The Elgin marbles, also known as...
So they got a gift they have to return?
Well...
These guys are ungifting.
It's questionable whether it was a gift. It's the Parthenon marbles, a collection of sculptures that, this is... I think they were originally rousted from the Parthenon in the Acropolis in Athens.
Roasted.
They were totally rousted. If you look at, there's a Wikipedia entry.
Yes.
No, they were totally rousted.
Okay.
Let me see. But some.
Oh, they probably should send them back anyway.
Well, because
they're at the British Museum. Is that where they are?
Of course, they were rousted, and they're at the museum, and the UK or the European Union is saying, yeah, this belongs to Greece. That's the European Union. We're going to want to have those back. So this is the level that they're going to on this Brexit deal. They will not make it. I can tell they're never going to make the December 23rd deadline. It's going to be another crisis at the end. It's all going to come together at the same time. We'll have the U.S. elections, then we'll have the Brexit. It'll be horrible. Just people don't care. They don't care.
It's great.
It's great for us. They want their marbles back.
The show.
They want their marbles back.
Okay, I got one more. I got a coronavirus update. This is the
yes,
ABC version.
Landing in Omaha, Nebraska today, escorted from the plane one by medical teams, rushed off by motorcade to this special isolation unit.
They've had a very long journey, so I think we're not going to make any assumptions about anything that's passed along verbally. We're going to go ahead and just test everybody.
338 Americans were evacuated from the Diamond Princess cruise ship in Japan, flown to bases in Texas and California, arriving overnight. 14 are suspected of having a coronavirus infection. 4 now in isolation and hospitalized near Travis Air Force Base near Sacramento. 10 in Omaha. Hundreds of passengers checked before leaving the ship were deemed healthy to fly.
I have to put my mask on.
The bus will take you to the airplane. The airplane takes you to the United States.
But after the evacuation had already begun, a complication. New test results revealed those 14 people were positive for the virus, exposing others on a 40-minute bus ride to the airport. Officials making a critical decision, saying the safest option was to push forward with the evacuation, putting infected patients in the back of the planes in these special isolation chambers.
They took temperatures, and if you had a high temperature, you went into that isolation booth.
Mark Jorgensen had to leave his wife behind in a Japanese hospital after she tested positive for the virus. So far, 454 cruise passengers have been infected. We met John and Melanie Herring when he spiked a fever and had to be hospitalized. He's now fighting the virus and has pneumonia.
Goodbye, Diamond Princess.
The couple deciding Melanie should be on that flight home. Melanie is now back in the U.S., telling us she too spiked a fever.
All right, so let's get to Clayton Sandell. He is live from Omaha tonight. And Clayton, the rest of the roughly 300 passengers, the Americans who showed no sign of the virus, we know they spent time on those buses with these passengers, the Americans, the 14 who it's believed might be infected with coronavirus. Of course, more testing here at home. But I gather the rest of the passengers who were in close contact, they'll be watched closely now for the days to come?
They will be watched very closely, David. They'll be in quarantine for 2 weeks. And it's important to note that those 14 others who tested positive in Japan will be tested again here in the States. And while that happens, they will be kept in quarantine, in isolation, away from everyone else. David?
Yeah, I've got a couple of updates on this. I still am tracking very closely Africa. The only case that has been reported is one in Egypt, which, of course, is Africa, but nothing else with over 1 million Chinese trafficking in and out of Africa back to China and back and forth. Nothing happening. I'm not worried about it. This is anything. The smallest hint of anything in Africa, everyone dies. They die from all kinds of stuff. But no, it's not happening. I did get some statistics that are interesting. The fatality rate, I have 2 stats here, and this is from one of our producers, and I trust this. We have the fatality rate by comorbidity, which is pre-existing conditions, and the fatality rate by age. So I'll start with by age. Here we go. Sorry. Yes. 10 to 19 years old, 0.2%. 20 to 29 years old, 0.2%. 30 to 39 years old, 0.2%. Then we get 40 to 49 years old, 0.4%. Then we get into my territory, 50 to 59, 1.3%. It starts to increase in your bracket, 60 to 69, 3.6, 70 to 79, 8%, and 80 years old plus is about a 15% chance you're going to die, which is kind of, it happens when you get, ultimately with a respiratory disease, you get pneumonia. Now let's look at by pre-existing condition. Those died with no pre-existing condition is 0.9%. People with cancer, 5.5%. Hypertension. What is hypertension? Is that also respiratory, or is that is it cardio?
Well, hypertension is just high blood pressure.
Oh, high blood pressure.
High blood pressure.
So, all right, 6%. If you have chronic respiratory disease, 6.3%. Diabetes, 7.3%. And if you have some kind of cardiovascular pre-existing condition, 10.5%. And I think that makes sense. The Chinese also have a lot of old people hanging around. They're revered. They keep the old people at the house. They don't put them in an old folks' home. They keep them around so that they can get the flu from the kids, who then, they kill them off. But it's, I just don't see.
I don't think that's the mechanism, but
no, but
that's the results.
I don't really see an issue. The president is very coy about it. He's like, hey, Xi's doing a good job. So I think it's either it's much worse in China, only affects Chinese, whatever it is. It doesn't seem to be spreading rapidly, certainly not where you'd expect it to. However, Prada.
So there's one story.
I was just going to finish.
There's one story Mimi got.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
No, go ahead.
You know that boat that was floating, or a ship floating around, no one let them dock?
Yeah.
And they ended up in Cambodia?
Yeah.
Well, on that ship was a stand-up comic. And he had a gig in Oregon he had to get to. So he escaped from the ship.
Yeah. Typhoid Mary.
In Cambodia. And I don't know if he ferreted himself out of the country or not, but he was, he should be in quarantine and he snuck out.
Fantastic.
So, I don't know how he did it. There seems to be more details coming. But that's not being covered by anybody that I can tell.
It's been around. There's news of how the ship...
I'm sure there's been a few people that have escaped.
Yeah. In Japan, they have a Prada, dress. Who are you wearing? Prada. They have canceled the fashion show. They're not going to show off their new fashion. And the Tokyo Marathon is as good as canceled. Only elite athletes will be able to participate. So of the 38,000 people, mostly non-professional athletes, 200 will be running the Tokyo Marathon out of fear of the coronavirus. And then we got a follow-up from Sir Farm Boy, not to be confused with Pharma Boy. Sir Farm Boy is actually Dark Knight of the 2-Foot Ledge. And he said, on Sunday's show, you were discussing how millennials are being more susceptible to the media about the virus. This is what I identified. Had you actually followed up on that with any of the millennials?
No, I didn't. I had something else from them, and I can't remember what it was. I'm remiss.
I noticed that two of our girls were worried. They'd say, "Well, I'm not worried about much. I'm really worried about coronavirus." So Farm Boy says, as a pharmacist, I am on the forefront of this. I have given more flu shots these past weeks to younger customers than all of flu season, even children. Surgical masks are on shortage or back order. Elderberry is flying off the shelves. I'm selling more Tamiflu than I have all season. All of this happening late in the season. We stopped pushing flu shots at the end of the year, but people have stated they are wanting the shot for the virus, even when I tell them it won't protect them from the virus. Anyways, I thought I'd give y'all an update on the Kung Flu here in the States and how the media is affecting the sheeple. Current douchebag will change, hopefully.
Sounds right.
Yeah, so... don't be snookered by this, people. Don't be snookered by it. It's not necessary.
I did get the message about elderberry, and there's some research on elderberry and chokeberry.
Chokeberry? Which
apparently keeps the Russians from ever catching any of these. Yeah, chokeberry. You look it up. It's another berry. Mm-hmm. These two particular products have an immune effect on the immune system, specifically targeting viruses. And the Russians make a big deal of having chokeberry and elderberry syrups and drinks and such.
Is this
during the winter time?
Is this a millennial thing now? Is like a small batch deal?
I don't know, but this is where he got it from. So I'm expecting to see it. And he mentioned it in his report, the elderberry phenomenon.
Yep.
And so I guess they're all aware of it. And so now you can somehow invest in the elderberry business or chokeberries. You're going to make a lot of money.
Exit strategy. Wuhan elderberries. I'm feeling it. We can do it, John. We can do it.
I got myself a case of Wuhan flu. I don't know what I am supposed to do. Didn't know I had it when I gave it to you. Now we all got the Wuhan flu.
Something really weird happened at the White House the other day.
Yeah.
The president had the parents of Harry Dunn visiting. Do you know the story of Harry Dunn?
I do not.
He is the young man who was killed in August by the wife of a diplomat in the United Kingdom because she was driving on the wrong side of the road. And she then declared diplomatic immunity, and they both left the country. And the UK is upset over this. You know, the peoples of the UK are upset. They're saying, hey, this woman, Sascolas, Saccolas, she should come back and she should face prosecution. Now, it wasn't a hit and run, but she was driving on the wrong side of the road, and it was in an odd place. It was near a military base where her husband, quote unquote, works. And so I guess they were invited or they were at the White House, and the president then apparently said, well, I have Mrs. Skoulas is next door. Would you like to meet her so you can, maybe find some kind of, solace over this horrible accident? And they said, no. I mean, why would we want to do that? No, we're not. These people are, of course, they're distraught. And I'm now seeing this woman was a spook. She and her husband were both spies. They're over there at this base. I'm looking for the name of the base. It's a listening station. So they're spooks. The president tries to smooth this over. I'm sure one of the intelligence services said, hey, at least give it a try. But I expect this to have some legs. This is not going to end. The UK wants justice served over this, and the White House is trying to put them together and pawn it off and see if we can smooth it all over. This has international fracas written all over it.
What kind of a spook was she? Did they train these people how to drive on the right side of the road in countries like England? It doesn't take a genius to drive on the left side of the road.
I will say, if you hit a roundabout, I have hit a roundabout in the UK when I first lived there, and then wound up on the wrong side of the road. And at night, it can happen. I mean, it's horrible. And and there was police there, and so she didn't, again, not a hit and run. But these people were up to no good. These are spooks. And
you're probably right.
I don't have much else to say about it other than, damn, man, you're getting the president to try and fix that for you, and in such a pathetic manner. Ugh.
Yeah, that is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, talking about people coming and going, here's an interesting story that ran. Another one that's not being played up much, but apparently it's a major situation that's been going on since 1988. This is the case of the missing Saudis, and I picked this up off of CBSN.
5 Saudi Arabian students studying in Oregon have disappeared while facing criminal charges in the United States. But an investigation launched by the Oregonian newspaper has discovered these cases are not unique to that state. Similar cases have also been reported in 7 other states and Canada. The Saudi nationals vanished either before their trials or before completing their sentences. Shane Dixon Kavanaugh has been reporting on these cases. He joins me now from Portland, Oregon. Shane, thanks so much for being with us. Based on your reporting, how long has this been going on, and do you expect to find more cases like these?
Our reporting in the last few months have found these types of cases going back at least 30 years in the United States. We have some going back as far as 1988 and some as recently as last spring. University students from Saudi Arabia have been accused of fairly serious crimes, from rape to vehicular manslaughter. And in these instances, the defendants have disappeared while facing prosecution.
This goes on. Unfortunately, CBSN this thing went on for 15 minutes with questions and answers. And it turns out that they're not even necessarily famous Saudis or from a big family. If a Saudi commits a crime in this country and is going to be prosecuted or jailed or who knows what, they sneak him onto a plane and ship him out of the country, apparently. That's what it seems to look like. Well, they haven't figured out the complete mechanism, but...
Yeah, isn't that what we did with the whole Bin Laden family after 9/11? We shipped them out, just got on their own private plane and flew away. We're famous for doing these things.
Yeah.
Famous for
Well, we're famous for doing it, but who's taking these kids who should, many of them, and then it turns out when to the end of the story, which I didn't just sub-clip, I should have clipped it, almost I'd say 90%, the guy finally admits, 90% of these Saudis that got arrested were arrested for rape.
Jeez.
Or some sexual abuse. One kid apparently had one of the biggest collections of pedophile literature that any of the police have ever seen.
Oh, man.
Off goes up to Saudi Arabia.
Ugh.
Very, very bad form. So that was, I found that interesting.
The Unhoused.
Well, I do have the one. What?
Hold on. Hold on a second. I just stop this for a second. We have some kind of huge delay. I'm going to call you back. You're not hearing me.
Call me right back. You should have gotten a message that you hung up.
You didn't?
Are you there?
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Well, it's a delay. Count down from 3.
1, 2, 3.
How's the delay?
It's not good.
Let's quit Skype.
Okay, well, why don't you call me back, but let me hang up.
And then quit Skype, and then we'll do it.
Quit Skype?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm waiting for you to hang up. Jeez. I'm actually going to kill off the Skype process. Where is that fucker? There we go. Gone to the goo. Okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah?
Is this better?
Sounds okay to me.
I'm going to count backwards from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shit, man, there's a whole second delay. That's not good. Hello?
Let me reboot my router.
Okay. It's worth trying something because by the way, believe it or not, there's a new thing we're going to try, Clean Feed. I won't bother you with it now, but reboot the router and call me back. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll just hang up then. Yeah, I can try the Skype call testing service while he's doing that. Just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's wouldn't change the delay, would it?
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Skype call testing service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yay!
Ding. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Testing 1, 0 delay. This always helps. Okay. That should work.
Drugged by a tainted cupcake.
Yowza.
That was a fast router reboot.
That was very fast. Okay, count backwards for me.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
2, 1.
Actually, it's better if I count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
1.
Yeah, we'll have to live with it. Okay, let's see where the hell we were.
Not that interesting.
The unhoused.
Well, I do have off fields up to Saudi Arabia.
Ugh.
Very, very bad form.
Okay, and you were going to go into a new clip or something, John?
Yeah, hold on. Don't do it. Yeah, I gotta. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
And here's the clip that I got that ISO from. I wanted to play because this is a weird story. This is a kidnapping attempt. It got kind of played by most of the major media. I thought it was interesting enough that I'd clip it. This is the weird kidnapping.
Oh, you mean the end of show ISO that you were talking about?
Yeah, it came from here.
Okay.
Tonight, this woman stands accused of posing as a newborn photographer, then drugging a mother to try and steal her baby. Now, authorities say as many as 10 other women are claiming they, too, could have been victims.
I was completely appalled. I was like, that could have been me.
The women say they saw Juliet Parker's ad on Facebook offering a free newborn photo shoot. Just last year, the 38-year-old ran for mayor in Colorado Springs, seen here in this campaign video.
Juliet Parker, candidate for mayor here.
One woman agreed, and Parker came to her home for 3 different shoots. On the third, she brought her own teenage daughter and a treat, a cupcake for the new mom.
We believe that she was drugged by a tainted cupcake.
Wow. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I have a few clips left for the unhoused. Here in Austin, Texas, we are at the frontier, the front lines of the homelessness.
Before you go on this, I do want to say a couple of things. I may have a clip for this in the next show. This is our governor did a State of the State speech.
Oh.
And that's all he talked about.
In California.
And we have another thing. I should just mention this. We have literally a communist district attorney in San Francisco is elected.
Yeah, the young guy, right? What's his name? The young guy?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
It's a weird name. Yeah.
Yes, has a weird name. We have this break-in problem with cars in San Francisco. Your window, if you have a car and you're driving around San Francisco and you park somewhere, there's, especially in certain neighborhoods, there's a good chance someone's going to come by with those special little ping ball things. It's like a little hammer, and then boom, they're going to knock your window out and steal whatever they can find. And so this is an epidemic. There's like 1,000 cars a day or something. There's some ridiculously high number. And so you know what the city's solution is going to be? With this guy, this new guy, he came up with a solution.
I can't wait.
The city will pay for the broken windows.
Oh, of course. That's a whole different take on the broken window theory. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Chesa Bolden. Chesa.
Yeah, something like that. I can't pronounce his name.
Chesa. Chesa.
Yeah, there's instead of enforcing the laws and capturing wrongdoers, that's the term I don't like. No, we'll just give you some money. It's just because of inconvenience fee.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's what we're seeing is all the bad stuff is coming back. What has returned in New York City? What has returned in Manhattan at the tunnels?
Your favorite.
My squeegee guys. That's right. That this is what Giuliani was so good at getting rid of. Now, I don't know what he did with him. I think he dumped him in the East River, but it doesn't matter. It was gone. It was cleaned up, and everything was much, much better. But the homelessness issue, which is really turning into a camping issue, and where can you camp? And because you're unhoused if you're camping. You're not homeless. You're not experiencing homelessness. You're camping. Lots of people camp. I know a lot of people who live full-time in RVs, Airstreams, even smaller tents, cabins, and they go to the KOA or rent some, there's lots of places you can, even if you're on disability, you can afford a camping site. But no, this all has to be on the medians. It has to be everywhere where it's no longer allowed in Austin downtown, but of course it's all moved just to the fringes of that. And this is not unique to Austin. It's happening everywhere. And it does come back to, a lot of people argue with me about this, but is the rejection by the Supreme Court to actually discuss the Ninth Circuit Court's ruling that you can't, even though it's illegal, and it should be policed, it is illegal to just build a structure without a permit in a public place. Removing those people is Eighth Amendment violation, cruel and unusual punishment, unless you have a place to send them indoors, which they don't want. It's a circular jerk. No one wants to be the bad guy. And particularly here in Austin, Mayor Adler. And everyone's afraid to say something. But this is not unique here. This is one we haven't discussed yet. This is Denver, Colorado.
Denver's urban camping ban has been struck down by a county judge. The judge says it violates the Eighth Amendment's prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment because it criminalizes homeless individuals who have nowhere to go. Nearly 83% of Denver voters decided to keep that ban in place back in May. Activists consider the judge's decision a victory for the homeless. Still, the head of the Denver Rescue Mission says this could make it harder for them to serve the homeless. Joel Hillen reports.
My message is to the people on the street, come in and let's try to help you. That's really our message.
Brad Miley is the president and CEO of the Denver Rescue Mission, which has been serving Denver's homeless population for the last 128 years.
Last year alone, we had 700 men come through our Next Step program, and 400 of those men are no longer homeless.
He feels overturning the camping ban isn't the best way to take care of our homeless.
This ruling is a great concern to us. We don't think people should stay on the streets. We think they should come into facilities like Denver Rescue Mission, Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, Volunteers of America, where they can get the help that they need.
Friday's ruling prohibits Denver police from arresting or harassing individuals experiencing homelessness who choose to camp on public property.
And I don't think anyone should stay outside. I wouldn't want to stay outside. I think folks should come in where it's warm, where it's safe, where you can go to the bathroom, where you can take a shower.
Miley said despite Saturday night's cold and snow, they still had 240 beds available. Several local business owners I spoke with did not agree with the ruling, but declined to go on camera, fearing retribution from homeless advocates. This ruling is being appealed, but regardless, Miley's message remains the same.
We just want to help people and help them to get out of poverty, out of experiencing homelessness.
And so this is the baffling point, is that actually, even according to the ruling, they can say, move along, you can't camp here, there's a spot right inside, we have the spot, you gotta go. They're not even doing that. Except, of course, when it comes to where the truly rich, famous, and elite live, such as Malibu, California.
Yeah, we're standing just beside Pacific Coast Highway here, and as Thomas pans over, you can see there are a lot of RVs and other vehicles here, and these are all public parking spots for the beaches, which are all open to the public here in Malibu and most of California, for that matter. The issue is they're not coming for just hours; they're coming for days, weeks, and indefinite periods of time in some cases. So what they're doing is the city of Malibu is working with the California Coastal Commission, which controls PCH. They're changing the rules about spending the night overnight, being able to park all night. You have to move your vehicle. In fact, we just saw a couple of sheriffs towing a vehicle that apparently couldn't move on its own, or what it looked like it had been there for quite some time as well. So they were towing that away. This is also not just an issue, though, about access. Take a listen to one of the councilmen.
Where the motorhomes have 30 to 40, 50-gallon capacities in the septic systems, they're dumping those right onto the rocks or onto the beach into the public right-of-way. They're dumping sewage into the right-of-way. That's a health violation, and it's a humanitarian violation. It's me above everybody else.
Yeah, another big issue out here is fire safety. Obviously, concerns about open fire cooking in this area that's still recovering from the Woolsey fire just a little more than a year ago. Many of the homes here still have not been rebuilt from that. So their solutions, they're looking to create a 24-hour safe parking zone that's not along a highway. They're also looking to get more people into the system here. If you take a look, we have a chart showing you housing cost here. Just as rent, it's up by about 50% over the past decade. Clearly, wages not keeping pace. So it's a very high-cost area, particularly if you're talking about Malibu or anywhere alongside the coast. But they are offering lower-cost vouchers for home subsidized housing. The problem, though, Melissa, not a lot of takers, because that's more inland, and, of course, people want to be near the coast.
Now, my final clip in the series.
Before you go on, I do want to comment on the clip before this one, where I found the little, just a tidbit in there where the guy says he tried to put some business people on the air, but they wouldn't. They refused to talk on camera for fear of retribution by the homeless advocates.
Mm-hmm.
What are they talking about? Are these a bunch of thugs?
Cancel culture, John.
Promoting homelessness,
yes.
And they go beat the crap out of some guy who says anything bad?
No. This is the cancel culture. This is the world that people allow themselves to live in, which is total horse crap. They're afraid because the minute you say, hey, get your tent away from my business. The advocates, and they are this nutty, they will come out in droves. They will tell everyone to boycott your store. They will do they're crazy. The cancel culture is insane, and they're afraid. The people, they're afraid. Now it's
this doesn't happen in Chinatown.
Well, no. Or in Malibu. Malibu was also going to change that, but they have their private cops move them off, whatever. Like, hey, here's, go. No, okay. They're going to kick them out. Now in Austin, where it's the same thing. People are afraid, although it's starting to bubble up, and people are going to take matters into their own hands. You will see. There will be, I guarantee you, before the year is out, there will be at least 5 unhoused people, or as the news would say, people experiencing homelessness, who will be shot by citizens in the greater Austin area. It's going to happen. Already we're seeing things like the following story taking place. It's just the beginning.
An Austin man has set up a live stream of the alley behind his apartment.
That alley is filled with people who are homeless and drug dealers who prey on them.
Fox 7 Austin, Shannon Ryan in studio with that story. Shannon.
Yeah, Mike, Rebecca, users can pay to play audio in the alley. Police say it's a noise ordinance violation and make allegations within those citations that this is a hate crime. The live stream founder tells me it's freedom of speech.
It's a half a block from where tens of thousands of people are coming to party every weekend, and nobody sees this side of it, you know what I mean? And I just thought people need to see this. It's super raw, and it's super uncensored, obviously, and I feel like that just brings eyes quickly, I guess.
It's been less than a week since Keegan Godsey started live streaming the alley behind his East 6th Street apartment. He calls it a social experiment, and it's quickly gained popularity.
Y'all know about that?
Viewers can pay $5 to play audio in the alley. The audience is often homeless.
And this is, it's unbelievable. The guy is blasting out. You can yell at the homeless. You can play, Metallica. You can choose all kinds of shit to play. And of course, the guy he's getting the citations, of course. But this is going to bubble over. Not just here. It's going to be in many places, except for California, because they're just beaten down. And people don't care anymore in California. But it's going to end very poorly.
Well, it's not an issue going anywhere, that's for sure.
No.
It's very slowly going nowhere.
But, today we have this. Tomorrow we'll have the same, the $1,000 limit or the $950 limit you got in California. You can just roust anything you want up until $950 worth of value.
Yeah, you can go in any store, steal whatever candy bar you want, and just walk out. Nobody cares. You can't do anything about it.
It's a very toxic place to do this. Because we have guns here. Someone's gonna be cleaning it. It'll go off.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, and we'll be here to cover it. We're the mainstream media.
Hey,
not covering anything.
This is what we do. Sorry to go out on such a bummer, but
a bummer.
A bummer. Another bummer ender. Another double ender bummer. We got that Larry show coming up right after No Agenda on noagendastream.com. You will want to hang out for that, and always at noagendastream.com for all the good trollage. End of show mixes, Tom Starkweather, Matt Lazzari. We thank them for that. And a reminder that the Keeper and I will be at Delray Beach for the meetup. Go to noagendameetups.com. That'll be tomorrow. We're very much looking forward to it. And please remember our value for value model. We'd like you to support us. Go to Dvorak.org/NA and show us how much you value the show. And coming to you from the Opportunity Zone 33, the frontier of Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's beautiful, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Sunday right here on No Agenda. Until then, adios, mofos, and such.
I got
issue. But gee whiz, somehow or another.
Look it up. Check it out.
And the truth is that when you see some troubled waters, you don't blow up a bridge, you build one.
Turning to somebody like Senator Sanders who wants to burn the house down.
So I want to be clear.
Let me be very clear.
Fair enough.
I am the only one who knows this man. I met with him.
I do have to respond.
Come on, man.
I called him up.
You have just...
The man or a woman, or could be more than that?
I'm more of a Microsoft Word guy. And if you look at my plan area, maybe the Mayor Bloomberg and I share, you have 2 stents as well. All right.
25 years ago.
Well, we both have 2 stents. It's a procedure that it's done about 1 million times a year.
We might all be surprised if my blood pressure is lower than Mayor Pete's.
But we can't be so eager to be liked by Mitch McConnell that we forget how to fight the Republicans.
And the good part of the economy, this is only 60 seconds, not up yet.
Maybe they didn't like the joke I told. And let me put.
We have a 138 in progress.
I'm the President of the United States. I have all of the power.
He's not leaving. These people are not going to give up power. It's just about power. What do you do then? There's no facts anymore.
And you have the people on your side.
I'm the President of the United States. I have all of the power.
Gopshites.
He has a lot of people on this side, the ones with the guns. The military, the police, and the bikers.
We're obsessed with this.
He loses, but he won't leave.
I'm the President of the United States. I have all of the power.
Gopshites.
Power.
The first thing you do is now.
You're assuming that the Democrats can win.
I think we'll do this.
Living in the era of fake news.
I'm the President of the United States. I have all of the power.
Gopshites.
Power.
Always had a peaceful transition of power.
Correct. Always have had. He said it himself. This is the police. He says, we have the rough people.
Win big.
14,000 have died.
I'm the President of the United States. I have all of the power.
Gopshites.
Power.
Okay, I know I'm the crazy person.
Power.
Correct.
Power.
It's just about power.
Power.
What is the plan? A democratic republic is the most rare and fragile form of government.
Gopshites.
The best podcast in the universe.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Drugged by a tainted cupcake.
You are listening to the No Agenda stream, where freedom lives and censorship comes to get its ass kicked.
The No Agenda Show with Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak, live every Sunday and Thursday, 12 p.m., 11 Central. On NoAgendaStream.com.
De lunes a jueves. The Safari Park.
You're killing me, Larry. Hello, Larry. Hello, Larry. Hats off to Larry.
Larry. Fucking Larry.
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 Larry, get into bed now.
Is there no sweeter sound than that of your own name, buried in cheers and applause? Well, of course there isn't. Hey, what makes an enticing story, a story that has legs, as they say? Well, celebrity and death, especially untimely or unexpected death, as we recently saw with Kobe Bryant. But that was filed solely under tragedy. Superstar athlete, well-liked, his kid dies with him, it's all sad. But that doesn't slake the thirst the public has for something more in their news. Death is death, but murder, well, that makes it much more interesting, doesn't it? Add sex, and you've got an irresistible media confection. And there's a new story here in Los Angeles that's a 7-layer cake tabloid dessert with one tooth-rotting slab of frosting piled onto another. Despite the fact that this story really is awful and sad, but somehow the pathos of it is diluted, almost camouflaged by the promise of lurid details. And that's a word you don't hear much anymore, lurid. It even sounds erotic or sleazy, doesn't it? Lurid. Journalism is almost dead because so many amateurs are running around the internet claiming to be journalists. So when I read or hear or watch a story that's actually fairly well put together, I take notice. Let's have a listen to how adroitly the local ABC station handled a narrative about the murder of former Drew Carey fiancée, Amy Harwick.
Horror in the Hollywood Hills. Drew Carey's ex-fiancée.
Ah, that is one smart opening phrase. First word, horror. Fourth word, Hollywood. Boom. A magical location, right? If it was Van Nuys or Pacoima or Westwood or any of 100 other Los Angeles neighborhoods, would anyone care? No. Only the residents of those neighborhoods might, and in Van Nuys or Pacoima, murder is fairly common, so viewer interest would be minimal. Next, they mention a big TV star, Drew Carey. We're not talking some C-list reality TV schlubbo. No, we're talking A-lister for sure. Next, his ex-fiancée. So, we know the victim is somebody, presumably a female somebody who was once very close to said star. So the first thing viewers might wonder is, did Drew kill her? Well, hang on.
And noted sex therapist Amy Harwick murdered at her home.
They use the word noted in their description of the victim. That's an interesting choice. What does noted mean? Noted by whom and where? Is noted somewhere between famous and obscure? What level of fame does one need to achieve to be considered noted? Is noted measured by Twitter followers? I don't know, but I do ponder these pressing questions. And they say noted sex therapist. Pow! Sex, not just sex. Anybody can have sex. Everybody has a sex, male or female. There are only two, and we do not say gender here. But this unfortunate woman was a sex therapist. What images come to mind when you hear those words? Could be a variety of people, from Alfred Kinsey to Masters and Johnson, or how about the most famous one of all, Dr. Ruth Westheimer. She's 92 now and is still going. Here she is speaking at a recent event.
I'm Dr. Ruth Westheimer. And since you have appointed me the Queen of Sexual Literacy.
Does the sound of her voice rev your engine? I didn't think so. I've never known or met a sex therapist, but when I hear that title, I know what image pops into my lascivious mind. Some brunette vixen, late 20s or beyond, in a pencil skirt, strappy shoes, and a crisp white blouse pulled taut by her firm décolletage. Maybe her hair is up. She's definitely wearing glasses. I guess Mia Khalifa would fit the bill, kinda, sorta, but more restrained and cerebral. I did a little research, and there's a very successful sex therapist overseas who lives up to some of the preconceived notions we might have about the profession. While most sex therapists, including the late Amy Harwick, work very hard to dispel any misconceptions that they engage in sex with their clients, this woman in England, named Padma Deva, she's quite upfront about the fact that she and her staffers practice hands-on, lips-on, and everything else on techniques with their patients. Is that the right word, patients? Or would John or Trick be more accurate? nomenclature. It's so subjective. I was very curious about Padma, so I checked out her webpage at tantricsurrogacy.mystrikingly.com. That's a lot. There's a tab on her site, Our Team, and when you click it, there is no team, just a solitary image of a woman who does not look remotely Indian. She looks like her name might be, Nancy or Kathy. She's fair-skinned with reddish hair, nothing exotic or pointy about her. It's not even clear if that is Padma. The team page is kind of vague. But I digress. As the TV story continues, they still keep us in the dark about the identity of the killer. In fact, they manipulate our expectations to perhaps suspect Drew Carey when they use the word major.
Tonight, police making a major arrest.
A major arrest. Then they throw it to the reporter on scene.
Leanne Suter joins us live now with the latest and what we know on this terrifying story.
Terrifying story? What could it be? Is Drew Carey on a murderous rampage, armed with a hit list of every annoying Price is Right contestant he ever wanted to throw off a balcony? Or is it just some anonymous psychotic? And why should we be terrified if an arrest has already been made? Then they cut to the neighbor.
It's shocking. Really quiet, as you can tell. We do this every night. There's nobody ever out. So, even the police were saying just nothing ever happens on this block. So really surprising.
Now this guy, he did something I've seen people do countless times when being interviewed by TV reporters. They ask him about a murder. The murder of an attractive and innocent woman, a neighbor of his. And throughout the entire time he speaks on camera, he smiles. Same as you would if being asked about a favorite movie or restaurant or vacation spot. I've seen that hundreds of times and always wonder why the fuck people do that. In Los Angeles, nobody knows their neighbors. It's like some sick, unwritten law. Seriously. People do not know or even speak to their neighbors here. Back in New York, we knew everyone on the block. Even many people for several blocks around. Not here. So odds are, this guy never knew or even spoke to the victim. So why would he look upset or concerned? Maybe he's just real glad to be on TV. Almost everyone here has some kind of acting aspirations. Maybe they smile so they can add the clip to the reel. You can see for yourself. I'll post the video on the show page at thatlarryshow.com.
Police say an ex-boyfriend broke into her Hollywood Hills home and killed her. Investigators say a restraining order she had filed against him had recently expired.
So now we finally learn the suspect is an ex-boyfriend, an unknown ex-boyfriend, not Drew Carey. One wonders if the ex-boyfriend/suspect is, in some field or context, noted. But the alleged murderer is, if nothing else, a law-abiding murderer because he waited to kill her until the restraining order against him had expired. Restraining orders might be the dumbest idea in the entire legal system. How many times have we seen this movie? Person gets a restraining order placed on some stalker or maniacal ex-lover. As if it's some kind of magic force field that will actually keep said stalker or psycho a minimum of 500 feet away. Or maybe they think it works like Violet's protective bubble in The Incredibles. Restraining orders are almost as stupid as gun-free zones, aren't they? Instead of getting a restraining order, Amy Harwick should have gotten herself a snub-nosed .38 or some other belly gun. And maybe a concealed carry permit. Hell, maybe she tried. But in the colossally fucked up state that is California, she probably could not. Funny how often government says, we'll take care of you. We're the government. We're the professionals. And then you wind up dead anyway.
Police say Harwick's roommate heard her being attacked and ran to a neighbor's to call for help. When officers arrived, they found Harwick on the ground beneath a third-story balcony, fatally injured.
Amy's roommate wasn't taking any chances, was she? She ran to a neighbor's to call police. But, as is always the case, when seconds count, the police are only minutes away. They showed up too late, and it's not their fault. They cannot be everywhere at all times. But the politicians, well, they all get bodyguards who carry guns, don't they? Yes, they do. So is, say, California Governor Gavin Newsom's life more valuable than yours, mine, or John Q. Public's? I don't think so. On the contrary, Gavin Newsom is kind of a parasite. Same as just about all of his blood-sucking, power-hungry peers. He's a career politician, which he'll deny. Oh yeah, he started some kind of wine business with his partner, Gordon Getty. Yeah, those Gettys. You think they ever had to scrounge for startup money? And Newsom's first government parasite job was at age 29. So his, quote, business, unquote, experience is pretty damn limited. One look at Gavin Newsom will reveal he is about 10% hair product, and the rest is equal parts bullshit, ambition, and deceit. He's like a wind-up toy with pre-recorded sound bites, his favorite being this one.
But it's America's coming attraction. And we say about our state, New York, you can claim the same. The future happens here first.
Wow, that coming attraction, that must be for a horror movie. Hundreds of thousands of homeless, the majority of which are struggling with severe drug habits and mental illness. Actual outbreaks of bubonic plague. Over 4 million residents receiving food stamps. For the past several years, the population of California, note this, Gavin, has actually decreased because they're not leaving. They are fleeing. It's a shit show orchestrated by a shithead named Gavin Newsom. But I digress. The TV report shows Annie Harwick's residence, and it does look substantial. Even bungalows in the Hollywood Hills can cost into the millions, and her crib is no bungalow. It's kind of a Tudor-style thing and has at least 3 stories. And as we know, she was thrown from that 3rd story. So one would assume she was doing very well in her career. But there's an X factor the reporter mentions that makes you wonder, why does a 38-year-old noted therapist have a roommate? Maybe they were renting the home. Details. Maybe it's not important. Here's another staple of those reports that always gets me.
Friends say they are stunned by her murder.
Friends were stunned by her murder. Have you ever heard the friend say,
"Yeah, we was friends, but he was always pissing people off, taking up 2 spaces at the supermarket, never cleaned up after his dog. He could be an asshole, so I ain't surprised he got offed."
Now here comes the capper. The story has all those yummy layers. Great-looking victim, a maniac boyfriend, a celebrity ex, sex therapy, a violent murder, and a little bit of weird irony right here.
In a now haunting post she recently made on Facebook, she recommended a book she had just finished entitled Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered.
Perhaps the ultimate negative endorsement for that book, huh? If that book's sales spike, then we really are a nation of idiots. Speaking of idiots, the CEO of Delta Airlines, Ed Bastian, made a statement about passengers reclining their seats, and it's caused a hell of a flap. Here it is.
The proper thing to do is if you're gonna recline into somebody, that you ask if it's okay first, and then you do it.
I don't think that's proper at all. I think the proper thing to do is remove, say, 10 rows of seats out of every airplane. That would make everyone more comfortable, wouldn't it? Then everybody could recline their seats, no problem. Even if my pal Darren O'Neill, Mr. 6'6", and host of the incomparable Random Thoughts podcast, is seated behind you. But removing seats might squeeze Delta's margins a smidge, and then the CEO and his lieutenants, they might have to trim their club memberships. And that wouldn't be proper at all, would it? Another story really grabbed me, and that's about a device someone has invented that might be the greatest invention since the guillotine. This gizmo jams microphones on the shit that's eavesdropping on you, like Alexa and Google and your cell phones. How cool is that? Cell phones have, for decades, opened up new frontiers for rude and ignorant assholes to explore and exploit. Like that chooch who just can't get off his cell phone long enough to pay his tab at the supermarket check stand. Or those frauds who are doubtless talking to themselves, braying about their Bitcoin and real estate killings. Ever notice those conversations are always at 90 decibels? And perhaps the most annoying of all, those clowns who are, what are they concerned about? Their brains? So they never hold the phone to their own ear. Instead, they keep their phone on speaker, so everyone in the restaurant, train, airplane, wherever, is subjected to both sides of their vapid conversations. These cretins have no brain in their skulls, so why are they worried about cell phone radiation? Their heads are not a vital area. So right now, the device is available as a bracelet, a crazy, huge, gaudy, conspicuous bracelet like something from RuPaul's collection. But I don't care. I would buy that thing and wear that thing just to fuck up everybody's shit. Can you imagine the fun that would be? The story I saw says that the technology that's built into the bracelet is not all that sophisticated, and that a crude one could be fabricated for as little as $20. If anyone listening can do that, please let me know. I want to buy one. And then roll video as everyone's devices fritz out on them. Of course, it will doubtless be outlawed before it gets any traction. Probably already some FCC regulations in place it will be violating, and if not, the corner office jackholes at AT&T and Verizon and Sprint will sick their lobbyists on the whores in Congress to make sure they never make it to market. Oh, and did you see that Sprint and T-Mobile are merging? Well, isn't that great? Less competition means higher rates. But on that front, I recently dumped Sprint and went with one of dozens of MVNOs, that would be mobile virtual network operators, and I cut my bill by an astonishing 65%, and the service is better. Hey, thanks for hanging with me once again. It's always great to be with you, right here, at the crossroads of madness and enlightenment, where each Tuesday or thereabouts, we connect. Stop by the homepage at thatlarryshow.com for a look at that video about that unfortunate sex therapist, and see if that microphone jamming bracelet should be on your wrist. While you're at the show page, click one of the subscribe buttons so you never miss an episode, and hit that Patreon button if you want access to me and my deep bench of advisor senseis. We have a remarkable track record of helping people fix what's ailing them on the job, at school, even in the romance department. We do it with total anonymity, and sometimes listeners, I have the coolest listeners on the internet, by the way, very often they insist that I address their issue within a show so that others facing the same dilemma might benefit. Of course, they still remain anonymous. Did I mention I have the coolest listeners? Yes, I do. I'll see you next time. And until that time, take no shit.
now.
Agenda.
In the morning?
It is the best podcast in the universe.
Value.
Value.
Model.
Enabling. Stunning. News. Analysis.
Without
integrity. Compromising. Advertisers.
For more than
11 years. Listen live on Thursday
and Sunday.
Section 13. The Zombie Apocalypse.
Sección 13. El apocalipsis de zombies.
He won't die if you shoot him in the heart. You have to cut off his head.
Él no morirá si le tiran el corazón. Tiene que cortarle la cabeza.
Ah, I've been bitten. You must kill me now or I will become one of them. Hurry before...
¡Ah! ¡Me han mordido! Usted tiene que matarme ahora o me convierto en uno de ellos. ¡Apúrese! Antes...
I'm going to eat all of you. I'm going to eat all of you.
Turn down your goddamn radio!
Please remember, when calling the Nick the Rat Show, turn down your goddamn radio. This message has been brought to you by the No Agenda Stream and producers like you.
Mo Facts with Adam Curry for February 18th, 2020. This is episode number 26. Hey, Mo.
How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well, sir.
It is. Before I forget, my wife, Tina the Keeper, she said, what are you guys doing today? Can you just ask one question for me? All right. She wants to know, with all the money he spent and all the media exposure, has Michael Bloomberg changed anywhere in the ADOS community's opinion?
Only in the politician that could be bought.
So he's moved up, you mean, on that scale? He's moved up.
That's the bump. He has a bump.
He's got the bot bump. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything good, man? Everything good where you are?
Man, everything is well. How about yourself, sir?
Yeah, fantastic. And I am ready to. Well, I already know that this is a special show, and I'll mention this part right up front. We run on the value for value model, which means you listen to the show we do. Did it bring you any value? If it did, just turn that into a number and send that to us. Mofax.com or directly to the donation page at mofundme.com, moefundme.com. And we've been doing this now. This is the 26th episode. And we looked at the PayPal. And I think we have Cash App as well.
Yes.
So
definitely
we have
Cash App.
Yeah, which apparently people like a lot. I had no idea how much people like the Cash App. And we were surprised. Like, there's a lot of people who've supported the show over the past 6 months, and so we want to start thanking those on a regular basis because as producers, you deserve the thanks for that, but also a number of you deserve a special credit as a producer, or as we like to say, an executive producer or associate executive producer. And we'll explain all of that later. But first, we have to spin the clip of topics here, see what we're going to do. What will it be? Oh, I feel lucky tonight. And it is landing on...
Pizza potluck. Potluck, potluck.
Potluck.
Should I know that song? Where'd that come from? I like it.
It's the potluck song.
Yeah, I don't know the potluck song.
Steven Universe.
Oh.
Not familiar with the show, but I love the song, and it works for this show title.
Excellent. Well, this is indeed the potluck show. So instead of one overarching theme, we're going to take you through I think we have 4 different things to talk about today.
Yes. So we're talking about 4 different topics today. The potluck show is pretty much, just to explain to the people, is we're going to clean up small topics that happen over time that we doesn't make a full show worth of material, but we want to talk about it. So we'll do these periodically, and so we can, kick it around and see what we think about it.
All right. All right. Topic number 1. I got sound effects for you.
All right. So if for the hip hop fans out there, you probably noticed that the intro song was Snoop Dogg Lay Low, and Snoop Dogg is actually laying low now.
Yeah. After we talked about him, all of a sudden he was real quiet. I'm sure that we set him straight.
Yes. Well, not too quiet, because he had to come out and make an official public apology.
25 past the hour. Joining us now, the host of MSNBC's Politics Nation and president of the National Action Network, Reverend Al Sharpton. Great to have you with us. Rapper Snoop Dogg is offering an apology to journalist Gayle King following backlash over his comments appearing to, he did threaten the CBS This Morning anchor for asking questions about the late Kobe Bryant's 2003 rape case in an interview with WNBA star Lisa Leslie.
Two wrongs don't make no right. When you're wrong, you gotta fix it. So with that being said, Gayle King, I publicly tore you down by coming at you in a derogatory manner based off of emotions, me being angry at questions that you asked, overreacted. I should have handled it way different than that. I was raised way better than that. So I would like to apologize to you publicly for the language that I used and calling you out of your name and just being disrespectful. I didn't mean for it to be like that. I was just expressing myself for a friend that wasn't here to defend himself. A lot of people look up to me and they love me and they appreciate me, so I want to let them know that anytime you mess up, it's okay to fix it. It's okay to man up and say that you're wrong. I apologize. Hopefully we can sit down and talk privately. Have a good day.
All right. Hold on a second. I didn't see any of this. So just to review, and let's make sure I got it straight. The issue that Snoop Dogg initially took with the Gayle King interview was yes about the question she asked, how it was asked, how she kind of dismissed the answer, but more importantly, the overarching issue that Gayle and Oprah have been known to go after black men and let white men slide on horrible guys like Charlie Rose, Weinstein, etc. Then he does that kind of he says, we know you were coming for you, whatever it is, but it was clearly about, hey, we figured out what you're doing, you and Oprah. And then Susan Rice jumped in. Like there's a whole army, we can kill you, and then the apology came. Is that how is that the correct timeline?
That's the correct timeline, but there are some segments missing out of the timeline.
No kidding.
So first we're going to start off with the apology, analyze the apology, and then we're going to get into how the apology came about, because when we left off last show, and I really wanted to leave this story at last show.
Yeah.
But it got so just the representation of what happened and how he was brought to the carpet and made apologize. It was just too much to pass up, because we're going to see some very interesting happenings going with this story.
And if I may make an observation about this apology, so they intercut his voicemail, I guess, that he left for Gayle, intercut that with his original Instagram video?
No, that was all Instagram, but I think he was holding his phone funny or something. I don't know why it was sounding like that, but it kept cutting in and out. I don't know if that was strategic by him or if he was just nervous or what. But
or high.
He had a whole different tone.
Yes, for sure. And that was a voicemail that he left for Gayle King?
No, that was actually on Instagram as well.
Oh, it's pure on Instagram.
All this is
like
going on his Instagram channel.
I got it. Okay, so no matter what, the true winner is Mark Zuckerberg, as long as we all understand that.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
So where we're at now is he's made the apology, and now the Morning Joe crew, including Reverend Al Sharpton, is going to chime in.
It's always a giveaway, isn't it?
Yeah, is going to chime in on how they received his apology.
Yeah, well, listen, it was a pretty straightforward apology, a complete apology. I thought it was a complete apology. I know you have a slightly different take on it, but I think we all screw up, we all mess up, and when we do, we need to step forward and apologize. And the part of that apology, I mean, he said he overreacted, he apologized fully, he was being disrespectful, and he said he needed to, quote, man up and apologize. He did, and I thought the best part of it was when he said that they needed to get together and talk privately, which I'm sure at some point they will, though I'm sure this is still very, very raw for Gail. She's been through hell over the past week, and I know she has to be disillusioned by people that she thought were friends who sat by and said absolutely nothing. I know she has to be disillusioned. I know she has to be disillusioned by newspapers like the New York Times and others who claim to be such champions of journalistic freedom and protecting journalists. They talk about protecting journalists worldwide, but they don't even protect one down the street when her life is threatened. It's very strange, this conspiracy of silence to protect and defend a black female journalist.
Oh, yes. Woo! Conspiracy of silence. Woo! Morning, Joe. But he's on a whole nother tangent. And I had another clip where they're just going off about, this is violence against a journalist and a woman.
Slow down, Curry.
And a woman.
Goggles, Curry. Goggles.
All right, hold on a second. I'll put them on. Let me get them here. I'll pull them out of the box. They're on.
Thank you, sir. Mm-hmm. So Joe is accepting of the apology, and Snoop had to man up.
What's that all about?
Words matter.
Yeah.
Words always matter. So that didn't sit with me well.
It sounds like something that someone told him to say.
I would agree. Mm-hmm. And it seems like, you kowtowing to Gail is manning up. And what I find interesting is this. We're not talking about what originally this whole story is about. Now they've pivoted from that to Snoop threatening Gail and Oprah.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we covered in the last show, because the guy that was speaking to her name, when one of the clips, the guy was saying, they need to get out in front of the story and make themselves the victim.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Karen Hunter, on the Karen Hunter show clip. The gentleman that was with her, he laid this out exactly how they played it out. They made themselves the victim, and now Snoop is on the defense, and he's running scared.
Clearly,
let's see how Mika accepts his apology.
Well, I don't think those folks are off the hook just because Snoop delivered this
they're not
so-called apology. I think it was an apology in some ways, but it wasn't in others, and here's why. First of all, it's quite a turnaround, okay, from what he put out there, and it took a week, which is problematic. When you've done something wrong, you know it right away, and you get right out there, and you do not give any excuses for it, and his first line gave an excuse. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Let me explain why that's problematic. He left Gail hanging in an area that's quite important to all of this, which I'll let the Rev talk about. 2 wrongs don't make a right? No. That's not okay. And that kind of undermines the entire apology. The other thing is, you have to wonder why it took a week. What is it that made him think for a week about this before coming out with this? And what he did when he tore Gail down and threatened her with a profanity-laced tirade is he divided people. And he knew he was doing that. He knew he was ginning up division. It's not a good look at all. So I think he's going to need to do more. I think it's a good start. but a lot needs to happen before this really is, quite frankly, in a place of peace.
Which people was he dividing, according to Mika?
Black men from black women.
Do you think that's what, I mean, I know that's what's going on, but do you think that's what she meant? Or this is brilliant, actually. So we want to divide black men from black women, so let's blame it on Snoop for doing it. Is that the idea?
And you see the group divided. We got to make sure the ones we have on our side stay on our side. So we make Gayle the victim. Misogynist Snoop is on this side, and anybody that agrees with Snoop is misogynist.
Yeah.
And that's the way it works. Now, I will say this. I have no problem with Snoop apologizing for the words that he used. But my apology would have went more like, yeah, Gayle, I'm sorry for calling you a dog-headed B.
Mo, can I just to give you some advice, if you're ever in the position to apologize to a woman, don't repeat what the infraction was in your apology.
And I'm doing this for a purpose.
It's a pro tip.
I'm doing this for a purpose. Just in this situation, I'm sorry for calling you that term, and I would say the term, but that still it still doesn't take away from the fact that you ignored Harvey Weinstein, and I would have listed every name. And this is if Snoop is about standing on his cause, and this is not pocketbook related.
Now,
but
let me interject. Well, we all know where it's really leading, but let me interject. He was kind of chicken shit not to do that to start with. He was talking in code. In fact, it was code that I didn't understand. He was talking in code, and instead he could have said, "Hey, Gayle, why are you doing that to another black man, and you let these white guys off the hook so easy?" That would have made it a different conversation, and actually would have skipped 2 weeks of incredible bullcrap in my life.
But this bullcrap is good bullcrap.
No, it's great for the show. I mean, no, it's fantastic.
The highest quality bullcrap you can get.
I'm not arguing with the entertainment value. I'm very happy with the entertainment value. Yes.
But even bigger than the entertainment value, a lot of things are being exposed. We're starting to see who's really pulling the chains here.
Yeah.
And to figure that out, let's get into the last apology clip, and then we'll get there.
It was important because it sets a cultural tone that you do not have to be engaged in threats and misogyny. I think beyond Gayle and Snoop, what concerned me was the message it was sending to a lot of people that listened to Snoop and that impacted by it. And I think that they got a real education, and I hope this is a teaching moment that Snoop will use to say to them, it is not the manly thing to do to call women out their name and to threaten women and journalists for what they say. If he had said he felt it was inappropriate or harmful to him the way she conducted the interview, whether you or I agree with that or not, he had the right to say that. But to dehumanize her and to use misogynist terms and to threaten her was my concern. And, someone stopped me in the street just yesterday when I got off this show and said, "I'm glad you stood up for Gayle." I said, "I didn't stand up for Gayle. I stood up for my daughters. I stood up for people everywhere." Gayle doesn't need me to stand up for her, but there are young people all over this country and older people as well that I march for that should not be called out their name, and we act like that's all right. And I'm so happy that it was validated and supported by Snoop. And just like we took Snoop on, we ought to give him his props and praise him for standing up, and hopefully use this as a teaching moment to many of his fans that to man up means to really be a man, and to be a man is to not disrespect women.
Bro.
How many times did
God, I'm sorry, yes.
How many times did manhood, being a man,
man up, yeah.
Yeah. You see what we're doing here? And I want to point out something about Mika. Did you hear Mika's tone?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Her tone was very chastising, like a mother, like, you know better than that. And I think Reverend Al picked up on that because
and he ran with
he
it.
was like, well, we have to, forgive Snoop. He has to walk that back because the way it looked to me is like, wow, they got you up here so they can say whatever they want to about Snoop. And we're doing it in the presence of Reverend Al, so it can't be taken a certain way. If you can catch my drift.
Of course.
So he's more of a prop than his input.
Well, and the difference with every other time we see Reverend Al being a prop is what? He is a prop. He's a great prop.
Just the subject matter. Just the subject matter.
Gotcha.
That's the only thing.
Gotcha.
So we want to ask, how did we get here? We left off last Tuesday, Wednesday. Snoop had made a semi-apology, kind of walking back what he said, but that wasn't good enough. MSNBC did an all-out, all-encompassing attack on Snoop Dogg.
Oh,
I don't know
wait
why.
a minute. How did I miss this? I watch MSNBC. How did I miss it? No, seriously, I'm okay.
I don't know what their purpose was. I'm still trying to figure it out now. I don't know if it was a distraction because of all the messes going on in the Democratic primary. That this is a great.
Well, hello. Yes, no, not just a segment filler. This is perfect. Right now, it's about the ADOS vote. We're in South Carolina. We're going to Nevada. We have Biden saying he's got the Obama fans. We've got Buttigieg. Everyone talking Michael Bloomberg. Yeah, they're going to go to Bloomberg, which is a big joke. So it's completely in play. So this would be the moment to split them. I still have the goggles on, but is this the moment to split the ADOS men from the women?
This is the perfect moment. And one thing I want to point out is the Democratic Party had no problem with Snoop Dogg and his vile language towards women, if you want to look at it that way, when they invited him to perform at the DNC in 2016.
No, of course.
They had no problem with that.
No, it was funny. It was cool.
He was actually like an unofficial
surrogate
for the Democratic Party.
Yep.
They had no problem with this, but now it's like, oh, he's bringing up valid points that can ruin a bunch of our boule butt kissers, and so he,
not just that. I mean, you can't touch Oprah. Gail, okay, it's like, but you're getting close to Oprah now with with the code that he's talking.
She's the biggest boule butt kisser.
There you go.
So we're going to get that. Now here we are. So the attack first started on Joy Reid's show.
The non-DOS.
The non-ADOS Joy Reid, who had Miss Tiffany Cross on her show.
Who won the week, Tiffany?
Okay, well, mine is a little more complex, but it does need to be said. I think who won the week are all the people who responded thoughtfully about the Gayle King interview with Lisa Leslie. I was so disappointed in some of the backlash that Gayle King got. Listen, as women in media, we can be on the receiving end of these very extreme comments. Yes. And so I will table the fact that was it appropriate for Gayle King to pose the question about the Kobe assault to Lisa Leslie. Look, however you feel about that, that's a separate debate. What came after that? This misogynoir and all these horrible comments from very prominent men, including, Snoop Dogg, who did his non-apology apology this morning. He called Gayle King out of her name, talked about her physical appearance, her hair, and I was just so disappointed because people like, Reggie Bush and LeBron James liked it, and 50 Cent, weighed in on it with all these ugly things days after the hashtag Girl Dad was trending.
Right.
Oh man, there's a lot there.
Did you catch what? I want to fall back. What did you take away from that clip? I heard you say something.
Honestly, I got kind of confused at the end when she took it to the girl's dad, and then I kind of forgot all the other stuff I was pissed off about.
Okay. She said the Kobe assault.
Yes, that's what I heard. The Kobe assault. Yes. Holy crap!
I thought he was acquitted.
Well, the case was dropped. There's no.
Dropped. Excuse me, dropped. But I mean, he's not guilty of anything, so he can't be assault.
No, but that's not how the media works.
And they're doing exactly what Gayle King got cussed out for.
Yeah, they're doing exactly.
They're doing it.
Yeah, of course.
And the hashtag cropped up. We stand with Gayle. So this is what she's thanking people for.
For the hashtag?
Snoop Dogg's. Yes. So Snoop Dogg Instagram post was liked by LeBron James, Reggie Bush, 50 Cent, and a host of other black men. And I'm surprised they let. I want to see how this plays out in the end, because their names on a list somewhere. Like, okay, you really want to show your true colors.
Well, hold on a second. Let's talk about this infiltrator on the Non-DOS show. This Tiffany Cross. Who is she? She's clearly some political animal. Where's she coming from?
Yeah, she's a political pundit. She has